Okay. Relax, don't do it.
When
you want to go to it, relax, don't do it. When you want to come, relax, don't do it. When you want to suck or chew it.
What is
relax,
it?
Suck or chew
suck
it.
Or
suck
chew
or
it.
chew what?
Suck. Well,
what do you think?
When you want to come. But anyway.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
I know that, Mr. Man. They also call them cereals. I'm not stupid, you know.
The story is ludicrous. You can imagine where it goes from here.
Fixes the cable.
The wait is over. 1984's top thriller is here. Body Double is a witty, suspenseful, dazzlingly erotic film that restores director Brian De Palma as rightful heir to the Hitchcock throne. Brian De Palma has never been more brilliant. Brian De Palma, Body Double. You can't believe everything you see. Rated R. Starts tomorrow. Check newspapers for theaters.
Are we all ready?
Okay, here's the thing about Pepe Le Pew, though, that no one's addressing is, okay, yeah, he's a fucking creeper skunk. Everyone says he's offensive because he's a creeper, but nobody ever says, as a French stereotype, that is kind of offensive too.
Yeah, but it's French.
He's like, no, did they choose a skunk because what they're trying to say is that French people smell bad?
I don't know.
Like a stinky Frenchman who's trying to molest you? Like,
Trying
to me,
to rape a
that's
cat?
that's the far more offensive. If I were French, I would find Pepe Le Pew tremendously offensive.
Yeah.
Way more than he like.
Do you know any French people? You'd ask?
I know a couple.
No.
Yeah, but they're very liberal.
Right.
And they love skunks.
Oh, well, see, there you go.
And they rape people all the time.
All the time, cats.
Yeah.
They rape cats all the time.
Well, and that's the other thing that people forget is, and by the way, that cat isn't some innocent cat. That cat, like, he robbed a bank or something. From what I remember, he like did something horrible.
Well, the cat was way too sexy for its own good.
And then he painted a white stripe on his body to get away from people. And he was like, I got away with it. And then along came Pepe.
So the punishment for robbing a bank is to be raped by a skunk?
It's to be, well, not raped, but just pawed at.
I don't remember an episode of Pepe Le Pew where it was like it is someone trying to get away and disguising themselves. The ones that I remember...
Well, not a person. It was a cat.
I know that.
Someone.
The character.
Someone.
What I usually remember, it's like a cat that accidentally gets the stripe on it and then is... The last time I saw a Pepe Le Pew was in the early 90s one time. I just happened to see when it was on like noon on like a Saturday.
And you
just
were
happened to turn on the
waking
TV.
up from a 90s party.
And
doing some ecstasy.
And then,
Yeah. Listening to Smash Mouth. Sorry. And then you watch some Pepe Le fucking Pew. Oh my God. Kurt Cobain would rise from the grave and kiss you on the cheek. You're so 90s.
If you're lucky.
I'm sorry, Alex. This is just...
anyway, enough about Pepe Le Pew.
Well, let's get this show
Are
on
we,
the road.
tell me you've been recording for the last 10 minutes. You know, I never know how to start these things.
Well, you always start it.
Okay. Hello, world. We are here in Black Dog Video. It is After Dark. That makes us the Black Dog Video After Dark podcast, a.k.a. Black Dog After Dark.
A.k.a. Black Dog AD.
My name is Dylan Reimer. I'm a comedian here in Vancouver. Also, I work at Black Dog Video. And as always, sitting to my left is...
I'm Alex Chisholm. I also work at Black Dog Video, and I also work as a programmer at the Rio Theater down the street.
The Rio Theater is not open at the moment.
Not open at the moment, though.
Damn you, COVID.
Yeah, he's working on the roof these days.
That's right. Yeah, he's retiling the roof and the bathroom.
Yeah.
Who are you, strange
me?
voice?
Oh, yes. I am Darren Gay. I own this shoddy establishment in dark, almost springtime Vancouver.
We're getting there. This week's movie is Body Double, directed by Brian De Palma from the year 1984. And you, Darren, being the one who picked it, we will let you start off. What are your memories of Body Double?
Well, my memories of Body Double are fairly hazy, actually. I watched it when it came out in 84. I can't remember if I saw it in the theater or on the home videos. Probably both, because I quite liked it back then. Being a 19, 20-year-old, male at the time, I was quite enamored with the sleaziness and all that sort of lowbrow thrills that came with this film. And I've always wanted to rewatch. I haven't seen it since, probably since then. But one of our coworkers, Josie, watched it recently and said, "You guys should do this for the podcast." And I went, "Yeah, we should do this for the podcast." And so we did it for the podcast. Here we are.
And here we are. How about you, Alex?
This was actually my first time seeing it. I was aware of the movie. I remembered like the ads back in the day in magazines and stuff. And I remember seeing the video box and stuff when it eventually came out. The only pieces I had seen of it were, I remember in the 80s, once in the 80s on like a late night music video show, they showed the Frankie Goes to Hollywood video. That song Relax, their song Relax is in this movie, of course. And there was a music video to promote the single and the movie, and it was a music video with scenes from the Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
So the actual music video wasn't from this movie. They filmed a separate video?
No, it was what you saw.
So this was the actual video from the Frankie Goes to Hollywood when it was released in the 80s?
Yes and no. Anyway, I'll tell you more about that when we get to the scene. It's actually kind of complicated. But there's several music videos for the song Relax. One of them used scenes from this movie. And that I had seen parts of it in a music video, and I saw part of one major scene that I don't want to spoil or anything, but I'll bring it up when we get to it.
How about you, Dylan?
Now, this came out in 84. I would have been 9 years old. This is exactly the kind of thing I would have been ignoring because I would have been far more interested in space battles.
Your parents didn't bring this home for you to watch?
No, weirdly, no. Yeah. No,
Your parents'
I got to be
boxes?
honest, I knew absolutely nothing about this movie until it was selected by you, Darren, to be watched for this podcast.
This is your first time watching it too?
Yeah.
You're both body double virgins.
And I watched it for the first time this very afternoon at 1 o'clock exactly with a cup of tea.
That's why you're so discombobulated when you got to work today.
A piece of toast. Oh, I know. This movie scrambled my brains.
It did.
I knew literally 0% anything about this movie. Yeah, that was my experience.
Cool.
I didn't even know this movie existed.
Whoa.
Until I was forced to watch it.
Well, I don't think you were forced to watch it. It wasn't like a Clockwork Orange scenario.
That might have helped. We start out the movie. Now, how does it start? Oh, it starts out, it's like it's supposed to look like a horror movie.
Like a cheesy, low-budget horror movie.
Yes. And I will admit that the opening scene, it did fool me.
Uh-huh.
Because I was like, oh, maybe this is a cheesy vampire movie. I knew it was Brian De Palma who directed it. And full disclosure, I'm not a fan of anything this director has ever done.
Really?
And that includes Carrie.
Even Carrie?
Yeah, I think Carrie is really overrated. Carrie didn't scare me or move me in any way.
The opening to this is similar. He has a film from 1981, which is Blowout.
Blowout, too.
It's basically a remake of Antonioni's Blow Up, but
Right.
it's called Blowout with John Travolta, and it too starts with a fake slasher movie. You think you're watching a super cheesy slasher movie in the beginning, and then it turns into the movie it is.
Right, it starts out and you see a vampire in a coffin in a spooky graveyard.
So my first reaction when I saw the main guy, he's laying in the coffin, I thought, wow, this is like, have you ever seen Phantom of the Paradise, earlier Brian De Palma movie?
I have not seen it.
I have.
Yeah, I actually thought it was the actor who played Meat in Phantom of the Paradise. I thought it was him. Maybe that was a little throwback to his own movie. I don't know. Dylan, you won't like Phantom of the Paradise.
Well, given that there are two movies by Brian De Palma that I get entertained by, but I don't know if I call them good movies. The Untouchables and Carlito's Way.
Both are good movies.
Those are great films. Yeah. Well, I haven't seen Untouchables since the 80s, but Carlito's Way I've seen like twice since it came out, and I loved it both.
I just watched Untouchables about 6 months ago, and I haven't seen it forever. It's good except for Sean Connery. He's so hammy and over the top and just eating as much scenery as he can. He's like just fully digested by the end of the movie.
But I'm sure that was an intended reference to Phantom of the Paradise, because he's always referencing himself, especially in this movie, De Palma. And also, I can't believe Dennis Franz is basically playing De Palma in this movie, even wearing the combat style jackets he wears.
Dennis Franz in almost every movie is like either the yelly cop, the yelly film director in this one. He's the yelly angry guy all the time.
Or the sexy gardener.
Just yelling at the leaves.
It goes down through the earth with the dry ice smoke and all of that shit. And there's a vampire dressed like Billy Idol. And
or Phantom of the Paradise.
He starts having a panic attack.
Yeah.
Which I guess you probably would if you'd been buried alive.
But he's not buried alive. He's in a coffin. He's supposed to be in a coffin.
Okay, but whatever the case.
I guess he's buried alive, though.
Yeah, that would be buried alive.
But if he's a vampire, he's not alive anymore. And why, if he's a vampire, why is he buried?
And why are you worried about it? Just like drag your vampire ass out of the dirt. I mean, I don't know. Like,
it's funny you compared him to Billy Idol because he's wearing this kind of snake-like rope shirt, and Billy Idol wears that exact shirt in the Dancing with Myself video.
Don't you have that shirt?
I don't have that shirt.
Oh, I thought I saw you wearing that shirt at work
No,
one
I
day.
wish.
so Billy.
I like, but then so they take him off the set, and he's complaining. He's like apologizing. He can see the worry on his face that he's probably going to get fired.
Yes.
Because then the set catches fire.
But why is he freaking out? Is the question, right? Because it's revealed that he's claustrophobic.
Yeah.
But they say right away, the director
But
mentions, why didn't you tell me you were claustrophobic?
Yeah, but they didn't actually bury him alive.
No, but
They put
he
a
would-
camera.
He would freak out.
It's like it's a cross section of the ground.
Yeah.
I guess because the camera moved in on him and there's nowhere for him to go. And I don't know. I've never been claustrophobic like that, so I don't know what it's like.
Point being, he's a wuss ass little.
This is one of the first nods to Hitchcock, which is lots of that in this
God,
movie.
I know.
It's like, so you don't like Hitchcock either, do you?
No, I love Hitchcock. I just don't like De Palma. And my problem with De Palma is he's always trying to be Hitchcock.
No,
It's like Oasis. You're not the Beatles, dude, but it's hard to listen to Oasis and not think,
You should just stop right there. It's hard to listen to Oasis.
I'll give you that. I kind of like Oasis. But with De Palma, it's just like, I don't know, man. I just kind of think of him as the J.J. Abrams of his day.
Oh, not at all.
Like
J-
the
J-
only
Abrams,
reason
is a
anybody
hack.
respects this director is because he was hanging out with Francis Ford Coppola
He's
and
made-
George Lucas.
I will
and
argue
Steven
this,
Spielberg.
I'm a big De Palma fan myself. So
I don't get it.
I'm there. It's weird. He's got a really long body of work. I dislike more of his films than I actually like, but the ones that I like, I totally love. If that makes sense, like Carrie, Blow Out. I always mess up that title. Scarface is a blast, and Carlito's Way. There's like 4 or 5 movies, and I really like. I don't love, but I really like Phantom of the Paradise. But I guess that's really most of his movies, isn't it? It is.
You
There's
just
a
rattled off
few.
5 movies you
Well,
like.
it's true. I mean, put it this way, though. I have nothing but respect for the man, but a couple of the movies I've seen, like Obsession, The Fury, are among some of the shittiest films I've ever seen.
What throws me off every time is Brian De Palma's directing style. It's so
I love his directing
obvious.
style.
It's so impossible to ignore. I feel like he's standing next to me with a megaphone screaming in my ear, "Did you see that tracking shot?" Constantly being distracted by this director trying to tell me how cool he is.
The tracking shots, the foreground, background. I love all that stuff. That's why I love De Palma. He does stuff that nobody else does.
I was an extra in a movie of his called Snake Eyes. That was
Oh,
filmed
Nicolas
in
Cage.
Montreal.
I've actually seen
And
that
I
movie.
actually sat down and watched it a few months ago and didn't mind it at all. I always heard how terrible it was, but I really enjoyed it. Like
It's got a great opening. Like the
It
opening, I
does.
think it's like a 20-minute one take opening,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah,
really
yeah.
instead of is that the one with the boxing?
Okay, let's get back to the movie.
Yeah,
at
because
hand.
we still are
I'm
only
sorry,
10
and
seconds into the movie.
That's probably on me.
That's okay. No,
Well, you're the one who's
well,
gotta
the thing is,
edit
we
it.
were going to have this discussion about
Brian
De Palma as a director sooner or later, so might as well get it out of the way now.
We need to talk about Brian. Have you seen Hitchcock? I've seen Hitchcock. I love Hitchcock.
There's an element of that.
I don't think of myself as Hitchcock, but I'm kind of
I
like
love
Hitchcock.
I
Well,
love the
get-
Brian De Palma take on the Hitchcock stuff. I love it.
It depends for me, really. Some of the movies that I like least of his are the most obvious in terms of kind of like, you must remember this from Hitchcock. I kind of get what you're saying, Dylan, about the Hitchcock stuff with him. Like, I mean, everyone knows. I mean, De Palma's career is all based on being this lover of, Hitchcock movies and style.
in a danger. Sorry.
Yeah, I find the movies I don't really like by him, the films I dislike by him are like Dress to Kill, Obsession, the ones that are most obviously, I find.
You don't like Just to Kill?
No, I find them way too derivative of Hitchcock.
Okay, so he's the actor guy, Bill Maher guy is
Craig Wasson.
yeah.
Craig Wasson.
His name is
Craig
Jake.
Wasson.
I wrote down.
What did he
His
ever?
name is like Jake Lloyd or something.
Yeah, he went on to do Star Wars. And
He's
his
a good actor.
because he's Benjamin Button because he could turn into a kid back then.
Jake is the name of the character,
Yeah.
or Bill Maher, as I'm going to keep calling
Call him
And
Bill
then-
Maher if you like.
And so that's okay, fine. That's whatever it is. He has a meltdown on set because he can't handle being in an enclosed space, and that's cool.
No, not really.
Well, whatever. And then the set catches fire or whatever. It's important to know this because it comes up again later in the film.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets in his car and he drives home, and then
Well, he goes to get a hot dog at the Tail of the Pup first, that awesome hot dog stand. There's a shot. It's just all of a sudden it's on the screen. Is that hot dog? It's so kind of really revolting and almost sexual. The dog sticking out of the bun. It's a famous L.A. landmark. I don't know if it's still there or not anymore, but back then it was a pretty famous
there's
L.A. landmark.
quite a bit of phallic imagery in this film.
Yeah, it's a pretty sleazy film.
It's really sleazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I can't remember if he gets a hot dog or whatever. All I was noticing was the terrible blue screen.
Oh, I think that's intentional. That's again, with the melodramatic music.
See,
You see, yeah, I loved it, but if you noticed, that disappears after a while. Like there's two shots of him driving in the fake driving background.
Yeah,
which I always find that hilarious, especially like in the '80s, and didn't have to do that anymore.
yeah.
But I guess that's again like a little Hitchcocky throwback.
Again.
But not just Hitchcock. Everyone did it way back in the day.
Sure, but whatever.
But Hitchcock in Hitchcock movies, it always looked kind of cheesy and added an element of things that I liked about that.
Yeah, I think he kind of had to have been on board with this or not on board with it.
I'm on board with it. And
Yeah.
You're not.
I am not because I was like, okay, whatever, I can handle. It's fake. I'm gonna let this movie play out because the opening credits are still going.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets home.
He lives in an unnaturally large apartment. It seems.
He does.
And for a loser actor.
And it's not his apartment. It's his girlfriend's apartment.
Oh, okay.
And it has their name in neon. There's a little sign. Because what's
right.
his name again? Is it Jack or Jake?
I think it's either one.
Well, it's
Let's
his name.
go with Jork.
It isn't it Hearts? Like there's a neon. Heart.
Yeah, and
then her name.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I thought.
But yeah,
was really
but yeah,
awesome.
every time I see this in a movie, and it happens so often. The husband or wife comes home,
Yeah.
and they can hear, but they like, aren't you curious about why those?
Even the dog is like, dude.
It's obvious what's going on.
It
It's
is.
obvious,
It's not like she's. I mean, maybe you think she's watching TV or exercising.
Maybe she's just watching porno. Yeah,
But
yeah.
who
Maybe
knows?
she.
But yeah, I
at
thought
2 in the
that
afternoon.
too.
Maybe she's doing push-ups
I
really
thought that
fast.
too. The way he's walking down the hall and
yeah,
stuff.
he's got a grin on his face. He's like,
Yeah.
and he's sneaking up on because he got off work early because of the set burned down.
Hey, guess what? I had a claustrophobic attack.
Yeah,
And
and then he opens the door, and it's Barbara Crampton, who's a reanimator,
Oh, right.
castle freak.
Yeah, she looked familiar.
Yeah, I'm a big Barbara Crampton fan. It was nice to see her. She's naked.
Yeah.
And she's having sex with some random dude.
Yeah.
And of course he's horrified. He runs out of there.
Okay, now this trope of like, dude comes home, like for whatever reason has to leave work early to find his wife, girlfriend, whoever having sex.
Boning, as you like to say.
Boning. Thank you for reminding me. I haven't used the B word in some time.
I know.
Boning away. Like, every time I see this, I think, does this ever actually happen in real life?
Never happened to me.
I don't think.
It must happen. It must have happened at least once.
Does it only happen to screenwriters in Los Angeles?
Possibly.
I've never met anyone who this happened to. And yet, it is so common in cinema. Like, when you go to the car or the bus stop, you got to run back. Oh, your girlfriend's boning some dude.
Well, that happened fast.
Also, I've never seen the other. Oh, actually, it does happen the other way around, where some dude is boning.
Yeah, it happens both
You're boning
ways,
my
yeah.
sister. I think that happens in sliding doors or something.
Boning my sister.
Anyway, no, not your actual. I mean, like
I understand.
I mean, my husband.
Your sister.
My husband is boning my sister.
Your husband is boning your sister.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm a woman.
Okay.
I'm Gwyneth Paltrow.
Okay, I understand now.
I'm Gwyneth Paltrow in sliding doors.
I've never seen sliding doors.
Okay, well that happens in sliding doors.
Are there actually sliding doors in that movie?
The tube. It's the London Underground.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just another one of these fucking cliches that I never believe ever when it happens, and yet it's in every second movie.
Sure.
It
I
happens in
watched-
Muppet movies.
I watched
Like-
3 movies
I
yesterday,
since I watched
and
these
it
Muppet
happened in
movies.
2 of them.
Was that
Nothing.
closer to the mic, Alex?
Nothing.
Closer to the mic.
Closer to the mic. Anyway, so he comes home and the old at least in this, usually it's just like and you don't get to see anything.
Oh.
You just see the guy looking through the door.
Like
but
the keyhole.
at least here we get like a fully naked woman
This
boning
is
away.
This is Brian De Palma in the '80s, so it's you're gonna get a lot of nudity in this thing.
And he's like, But you're right. Like he's walking down the hall. How he's not hearing this?
Oh, I know. And
He pets his dog. The dog's just like, dude, your wife is getting boned.
And he goes shh to the dog.
Yep. Yeah. I can't hear.
Like a dog knows what
I
that
want to
means.
listen to the bone. Yeah. Whatever. So blah blah blah.
So,
so he goes to the bar, and then he's a real jerk to the bartender.
Yeah, but then he apologizes.
The bartender's expressing concern because obviously he's falling off the wagon at this moment.
Yeah, he hadn't been
drinking
drinking in a while.
Okay, all right. But
but the thing is, why is he hanging out in a bar if he hasn't been drinking?
He probably went there when he was a regular drinker and befriended the guy.
But then didn't show up for a year?
Maybe, or forever how long.
Yeah, I don't think anybody, like if I stopped drinking for a year, well, it means I've been kidnapped by the Mormons. Yeah, thanks, Greg.
Greg, our soundman, just burst out laughing. He's on the floor now.
Okay, if I didn't drink for a day... okay.
With the bartender.
An hour, maybe.
Keep going. Yes.
Anyway, he's friends with a local bartender who knows he quit drinking.
Yeah, and so then a friend of his shows up and invites him back to sleep on his couch or whatever.
Well, the bartender invites him.
Was it the bartender?
Yeah.
Okay, but then he goes back and he sleeps on like a love seat.
That's right, yeah.
He's trying to get... That's so funny.
And then he goes to acting class. He goes to his acting class. Do you guys know who the actor Peter Callahan is?
Nope. Any relation to Rory Calhoun?
He's a Canadian actor. He's in a ton of stuff. Anyway, because I was very happy to see Peter Callahan has a very small part in this movie. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, Peter Callahan's in it.
I was happy to see Barbara Crampton. You're happy to see
Peter Callahan.
Yep.
Peter Callahan was on a show called Made in Canada. Was actually a really, really funny.
I remember that show.
Satirical take on the Canadian film and television industry. Anyway, so he has like 4 lines in this thing, but only because he. Oh, okay, hold on. So the story is, Bill Maher goes back to his acting class.
Yeah,
and he says hi to a couple of other actors, and he goes in. And then there's this weird, like, pseudo-hypnosis, like you're a baby in the womb scene.
You are a baby.
And he's like, I'm a baby. Oh, I just shit my pants. Like, he gets really into the baby thing.
Yeah, it's so embarrassing.
It was totally embarrassing in front of the whole class.
Yeah.
And Peter Callahan is the brunette guy. He's just kind of watching. But then there's this mysterious blonde guy with a head shaped like a fucking melon.
Yeah, Greg Henry.
Oh, you know who that is?
Yeah.
Okay.
He always plays sort of the sleazy kind of guys in movies.
Okay.
If you want sleazy guy, go to Greg Henry.
Okay.
2 first names.
I definitely.
It's going to be sleazy
I will,
guy.
for sure. Yeah. Next time I'm in the market for
a sleazy man.
A sleazy man.
Well, he must be old now, so he's probably not a sleazy. Well, he might be really a sleazy old man. If you need a sleazy old man, go talk to Greg Henry.
The older and sleazier, the better.
Yeah.
And so sleazy man. I guess they get to talking about this weird hypnosis moment.
It starts. They're on the stairs out in front of the acting class, and he mentions to his buddy that he's looking for a place to stay, and that's when Greg Henry, I can't remember what his character's name is.
Yeah.
He comes and introduces himself and sees he's maybe a bit of a mark because he's got something. He's got something broiling upstairs. He's got something in the oven in his brain.
And also, the acting teacher just totally hypnotized him into acting like a
baby and crying,
simmering baby in front of a room full of people with minimal effort. Yeah. He's just like, "You're a baby, I'm a baby." Like, he didn't even have to convince him.
He doesn't have Bill Maher's character doesn't have a lot of confidence. He's a sort of a weak kind of, gullible, which in being an actor in Los Angeles, I don't know if you got to be a little more tough than that.
You're claustrophobic. His wife, he just got his wife cheating on him or his partner. He's falling off the wagon.
He had to sleep on a tiny couch.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Well, but he got the part as a Billy Idol vampire.
Yeah,
in some
shitty low budget movie.
And he feels like he's blowing it.
Do you know how? Okay, but here's the thing. Do you know how hard it is to get a fucking part as a Billy Idol vampire in some low budget sleazy vampire movie?
Well, it was less hard.
Plenty hard.
Wow.
Like,
well, this is '84, so maybe it was easier back then.
But also, the point is, he's blowing the gig.
Yeah, because he ends up blowing the gig because they replace him because he,
Yeah, whatever. Okay, so then Football Head is like, "Hey, why don't you come up to this mansion that I'm looking after.
Well, there's a scene when they're at because he takes him out of the acting class because he pretends to be his friend and rescue him from the humiliation that he's going through. Takes him to the bar, and then of course, he's like being sleazy dude to the waitress. He actually makes yummy sounds as the waitress walks by, and then he says something about 16 years of good humping. I got 16 years of good humping behind me.
Behind me?
Yeah, so he's been having sex for 16 years, but he looks like he's 50.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would be like
maybe 40.
46.
So yeah, that's about right.
I got a late start.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't make any note of any of this stuff.
Yeah, so then he offers him. He said, Greg Henry has a friend of his. He's house sitting for a friend and he has to go to town to do a movie. So offers Bill Maher his weirdo space mansion in the Beverly Hills, I guess it is.
But he's
a real
not,
house,
but
too.
it's not his house.
He's house sitting for
He's
someone.
house sitting for someone, so it'll be like a sub.
Or so he
situation.
says.
Right.
So he
Okay.
says.
So this creates major problems with the whodunit nature of this film when the big reveal is revealed later on. But we'll get to that.
Okay, let's get to that
as the movie goes along.
Sure.
So he's like, "Come on up to my shagging pad."
You know, all I can think of, I'm looking at that house is like, LA's kind of prone to earthquakes, right?
That's right.
Yes.
That house, I would not want to be in that house.
Oh, dude! Every time I see a house where they have a patio, with like wooden, like legs holding it,
like over the ocean or something like that.
Yeah. Like you're just asking.
Yeah, you're asking. So we're at the guy's weird space house, and there's like a weird, like a dungeony area. Like it's the weirdest, grossest looking apartment. It's so sleazy. There's a round bed that rotates all the time.
Yeah.
It's just
What
And
happened?
you have to get in a gondola to get up there, don't you? Aren't they on like a
gondola?
little gondola that takes them up there?
A vernacular, maybe.
Because it shows them going up to it. It's almost like an escalator kind of situation. Like it shows them riding up to it. Apparently, it's a real house in the area.
Yeah, I doubt they built that for the movie.
No, they didn't. But I mean, even for a split second, I was thinking miniature or something. But I think, it's a very cool, weird looking house. But yeah, it would be very scary.
It's so 80s. It's so 80s.
In fact, I made a note. There's a point where he's lying in the bed watching porn or something. I can't remember. And it's just like neon all over the walls.
Yep.
It's like, well, who doesn't love neon in their bedroom?
As it spins really fast, it's not like spinning so fast it's going to fly off the bed, but it's going fast enough to make you either nauseous.
Do you think it could go that fast?
Maybe there's
how fast does that thing go?
Maybe there's like a turbo.
Maybe it's like a record player. It's like 2 speeds.
Yeah, don't put it on the what's the fast one? 45.
I don't know. But imagine how. Okay, so imagine if you had that bed. Now, a water bed is already weird enough.
Yeah,
but
my parents had a
water
water bed.
Spinning bed.
Well,
how would you ever? Do you think you'd ever get a good night's sleep in a spinning bed?
Just be dizzy all the time and discombobulated. How do you get out of it?
Yeah, but it's
but
not
after 8 hours,
the spinning part isn't for obviously sleeping. It's it's a sex.
Yeah,
like
but it
a
doesn't help
spinning
masturbation
sex orgy
either.
bed.
Well, why is sex
It's
better when
not
you're
for-
spinning around?
Well, in a wild party situation, maybe.
I've done it on a merry-go-round once, and we both got sick. I would like to apologize to the park workers at Queens Park in New Westminster, British Columbia.
I was going to say, and the kids were horrified.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But hold on. But if you're, I was thinking about this. If you fall asleep in this spinning bed, and by the way, it's not spinning like slowly, like one of those
erotically.
like one of those restaurants that you eat in. That's like, oh, it's a spinning restaurant.
Because food tastes better when it's spinning.
It's going. Would you not just be confused when you woke up?
All the time. What if you go to the washroom at like 3 a.m. and you just step out, you just like fall down because you've been spinning all night.
And then it's a spinning toilet. Yeah. He's got a spinning fridge. Everything spins in this apartment.
Well, the bed's also round, and the only place you can actually sleep in a round bed is right in the middle.
Yeah,
because all the sides are all lopped off at the rest of the round part.
I like the side. I like to have my arm sort of drooped over the edge.
Really? Oh, I'm afraid there's things down there.
Oh, there are in your house. I've been rats
and foxes.
You're always in
badgers,
coyotes, and peacocks.
Yeah, the peacocks.
The
Surrey peacocks.
The Surrey peacocks
are
down there. Anyway, so it's that was the 80s, right? Like, hey, you got neon in your bedroom. And okay, and also then there's the other thing. You got a spinning room. Now with the lights out, I could see like spinning maybe being like a reassuring feeling.
What,
Maybe.
like it's back in the womb.
But only if there was no point of reference. But if you've got neon on the walls, you're just gonna be. If you got the bed spans and that fucking neon is just going around and around.
Oh
my god,
it's a nightmare.
Yeah, you'd be body double.
Yeah, it's
barfy double.
And so Greg Henry introduces our hero Jack or Jork or whatever his name is.
Yep.
To the pivotal
plants.
thing.
The plant. No, first.
Oh yes,
no,
that's the
first. He's like, you gotta water these plants.
Because do you love plants? You gotta love plants if you want to stay at this place.
I don't know. I kind of hate plants.
Stupid plants.
So he gets to the house. He's like, yeah, you gotta water the plants. After 6, and those are the only rules.
Yeah.
Why does the millionaire need anyone to live in the home
To water the plants.
Why not just?
Because you don't have to water them
pay
every day.
Some kid to show up and water the plants and leave.
Well, the thing is, you don't water plants every day. You water plants like once a week or once every 2 weeks or whatever.
Not this guy.
No,
he overwaters his plants, and they fucking love it.
They do. They were flourishing.
Yes, but you know what else was flourishing?
The neighbor.
Anyone's hard on who looked through the telescope,
which gets
aimed directly at the neighbor's house.
Yeah. And here we enter the Rear Window phase of the Hitchcock homage.
And do we ever?
Yeah, and this is the most ridiculous part. Because when I first watched this, I was like, really? But now I just along for the ride. It's so dumb. He's Greg Henry's. He's got the. It's like a weird telescope thing.
Is Greg Henry the Bill Maher guy? Or
No, he's the sleaze guy.
Okay, so yeah. Right.
And
sleazy is.
And he says this. The neighbor does this weird dance
every night. Same
night,
time.
She dances, brushes her hair, and then masturbates every night.
Oh,
at the same time.
Does he say that?
No. He just says she puts on the show every night. Says,
okay.
Yeah. But we watched the whole thing almost.
Because I didn't realize, because Robin and I were watching it together. Well, she wasn't really watching, but she was on her break. She works from home and she had her lunch break, and so
2 hour lunch break to watch a Brian De Palma movie.
But she's eating a sandwich at this exact moment in the movie. She's like, "What are you watching for the podcast?" I'm like, "It's called Body Double." Darren likes it, and
blame me.
It's like
blame me for her stepping into the sleazy moments.
I'm like, this guy's an actor and he's claustrophobic and all this shit, and then all of a sudden she's just like fucking dancing around, and I'm like, and we're both like, who does this? Like,
Yeah.
what? Why? And then Robin's like, sometimes I just want to get in the mood to masturbate, like as a joke. And then she starts masturbating.
Yeah, well, she's drinking. She's had some champagne. She's brushing her hair.
Yeah.
She's trying on lingerie. She's crawling around seductively on her own bed.
But every
by
night,
herself.
every night, like at 7 p.m.
Nobody does this. Nobody does anything every day except for sleep and eat.
Like,
and
and
poop.
I was like, what
Brush your
music?
teeth.
It's like,
Maybe.
you know what? I was imagining that because it's at 7 p.m. She's like watching Jeopardy, like Jeopardy's on,
and brushing her hair and masturbating.
It's like do do do. That's what she's dancing to.
Well, and they
do.
have this music, this sort of sexy '80s sultry music, but it shows up every time he even comes near the telescope again. He looks at it. It's like
It's supposed to be his temptation.
Yeah.
He never sees her taking a crap, or just like talking to her mom on the phone.
But then when
or
you're watching
taking a
this,
crap while talking to her mom on the phone. Sorry.
when you're watching this, you're thinking this is dumb.
Yeah.
But it's part of the story as we learn later on.
And
He's
here's
not
the-
encouraged to watch her any other time of day, just this time of night.
Well,
That's
because
the
she's,
thing.
as you said, she's taking a crap talking to her mom
Yeah.
at times a day.
or
Nobody wants to watch
eating
that.
oatmeal or whatever.
Yeah.
One thing with 70s and 80s movies is like actors back then look 15 years older than they were. Like these two guys were acting like a couple of 13-year-olds
Yep.
looking at the Sears catalog. They're like, oh my God, oh, she's dancing. Oh, I know, right? Ooh, ooh.
Yeah.
And it goes on for like 6 minutes where I was like, these guys are fucking perverts.
It went on for quite a long time.
I know, but then I was like, how old are these actors? Because I'm like, they're acting like they're about 12.
They're in their 30s. I'm thinking 40s, 30s, 40s.
I guess, but these guys, they were acting so juvenile, but their faces were so old. There was this. It'd be like watching
Yeah,
like
but
your
there's
grandpa.
lots of that out there.
Well,
like,
Well,
idiots who would behave like this.
for sure, and I think
Yeah, I guess.
I think also it's Craig Wasson's whatever his name is character, because he seems like he's naive the whole time, and he's just a sort of a slight wimpy, naive, shucks kind of guy, and I think this is sort of new to him because of that.
Yeah.
That's the way he is. He's like some rube that just came off the turnip truck on the way going to Hollywood or something like that.
Yeah, I guess he is.
Although, which is ridiculous because if you're an actor in Hollywood and he's been there for a while because he got a leading part in even a shitty little movie, you're going to be a little jaded and a little more, rough around the edges, knowing how everything works there.
Well, I mean, he was really young and good looking, though.
Yeah, maybe that's how he got the part.
This guy's like 35 years old. I don't know.
Anyways, Greg Henry he gives him the rules. You can look at the woman, water the plants, and then the last one was don't make any long distance phone calls, which I thought was hilarious. Like that's the only rules: don't make any long distance phone calls. But then I'm thinking, well, back in that time, those things cost a lot of money.
Do you remember long distance phone calls?
Person to person call.
The pervert brothers are looking through this telescope,
and they're
drooling, and their faces are turning beet red. And a wooga is coming out of their ears.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's so stupidly.
I know it's ridiculous.
Perverted.
Yeah,
but they are perverts. So
yeah.
I'm glad that De Palma didn't back down off of that. Neon in the bedroom, satellite. So then more successful actor guy, football head, whatever his name is.
Greg Henry. He leaves the picture.
He goes to Seattle
because he's working on a movie or whatever. Because
in that hotbed of film in the 80s, Seattle.
Yeah.
I guess maybe The Changeling.
Oh, he's working at the Singles. He was maybe an extra on Singles or something. That was set in Seattle. Right?
Yeah. He got there 7 years early to get in a part. He's a method actor. He wanted to really look like a guy. Anyways. Craig Wasson's let's call him Jake or Bill, whatever you want to call him. He goes back to the movie set. He gets fired by Dennis Franz, and he freaks out on Dennis Franz, which is pretty funny. And
he actually finds out through his agent that he's been fired,
and so he storms the set.
His replacement is represented by his agent, and then he storms back to the set. Yeah, makes a big deal.
That's
and is escorted off the set.
I thought that was a pretty good joke. If it was supposed to be a joke, like, well, how do you know I've been replaced? Well, your replacement was.
Yeah. Oh, it was funny.
I manage him.
This movie has a lot of humor in it.
I do like the Hollywood elements of this movie. It's just everything else. Well, whatever. We won't get into what I didn't like about it.
So he goes back to the apartment, and again he's watching the woman dance, but this time he sees like something going on.
The satellite repair guy,
who's like nobody repairs satellites at nighttime.
Yeah, and he's got it's like his like sparks are flying.
Yeah, well, it's
like
welding.
He's using a what is it?
Blowtorch.
No, yeah, he's got a blowtorch,
welding
sparks.
thing,
yeah.
Well, the reason that is so he sees them. It draws his eyes to what's going on over there. But I'm like, and then then he sees a guy inside the house arguing with the dancing woman,
some pimp.
Yeah, and he slaps her around a little bit
and throws her on the bed.
But I'm like, it's so obvious who that is. It's so obvious it's his buddy. Like it looks like him.
Oh, I didn't notice that at all.
That.
Really? No. I did right off the bat.
I know that's real, but I didn't think it was.
I just assumed it was I thought it was Superfly.
So this isn't happening at the same time as the welder because
that comes a little bit later.
Mixing up the scenes. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, but so he sees it. But this is him. This is the guy setting the trap, setting the lure, the hook, line, and sinker into Jake's character because now he's invested because now he sees she's in trouble and he's obviously attracted to her.
Yeah.
Watching her dance every night.
Okay, so.
And then think it's either later on that night or maybe the next night. I can't remember which one is that. Which is the then we see the welder guy.
Oh yeah,
who's like real ugly.
The satellite repairman. He looks like a burn victim.
He looks like he's been in a fire. Yeah, that's why I say he looks like he's been in a fire.
Or like a Star Trek character.
And they refer to him as the Indian because he looks
in the script. Yeah.
And this is also where the movie starts to fucking fall apart.
Like, I don't know about fall apart.
Logically, well, no. Once you've seen the entire movie, you think back and go,
"Oh, that makes sense."
Well, no, it doesn't make sense because of who he actually is. Because he's wearing a rubber mask.
Yeah,
right?
it's a pretty good prosthetic, I guess.
Okay, great.
But when you're looking at him from afar,
Yeah.
Okay, but
I didn't catch on right away it was him. But that's the thing.
Well,
it's
hold on,
not
hold
one
on,
of those films. It
but
is
the-
like...
there'll be some spoilers coming up.
So the satellite repair... Fine, fucking spoilers. Eventually, the satellite repairman winds up murdering the naked woman,
Yeah.
right? But he's not really... Is he even a satellite dish
No.
repairman?
No, not at all. No, the whole thing is set up for Craig Wasson to witness this guy
Yes.
murdering this woman.
Yes.
Yes. So that's the very first time.
So here's the question.
Yeah.
Did she... So who called for the satellite
Nobody.
dish?
Nobody.
Nobody called. No, he's just
Oh.
there. He's just there. He's there to draw his attention.
So the dancing naked woman who winds up getting murdered does not notice that there is somebody with a fucking blowtorch.
Well, she's not
sparks
dancing
in
Well,
the neighborhood.
I think she does see him actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
It's her property. She lives in the fucking house.
It's
Does
like
she,
a gated
does she
community.
not
He's not-
question?
no, he's not
Why
on-
is
but
there,
it wasn't her.
Why
not
is
on
there a
that
Freddy
property.
Krueger repairing my fucking satellite?
It wasn't.
Well, it's
it
not
was
her dish.
No,
It's like
no.
a
It was just like in the middle of the street or
Yeah,
something
it was
like
like
that.
a
It was
utility
a
pole.
community
Oh, I
dish.
thought it was their satellite
No.
dish.
No, it
She's
was
in
like-
a gated community too. Remember when Craig Wasson runs to the house? He
Yeah.
has to jump
Okay,
the fence.
no,
Yeah.
but okay. But
It's a
when
gated
hold on.
community.
But when Bill Maher / Craig Wasson runs to the house, he actually goes over the fucking satellite dish and climbs down the ladder and has direct access to the property.
I don't think he goes anywhere near the satellite. Does he?
No, he does. He does. When she's getting murdered, he runs
No,
to
he
save
runs
her.
against two joggers and they run. He doesn't go anywhere.
No.
near the
But
satellite
he
dish.
does also. He does come running down over the sat. I remember this because I remember thinking that's a really big fucking satellite dish. And I was like, oh, in the 80s, I guess, in
Everything was
84, I
big,
guess
yeah.
if you wanted satellite TV, you had to have a really big satellite dish.
I guess, yeah.
Or, okay, so in any case, like, why did they go with a fucking satellite dish, the most distracting imaginable?
Because he wanted to attract.
He wanted to be seen.
He wanted to be seen.
He wanted
He's
to
setting
be
the trap. He's
suspicious
setting the
to
trap for
Wasson.
for his character.
Okay, so I got questions about this.
Okay.
Because the bad guy's plan doesn't make any fucking
Oh, it
sense.
makes perfect
but
sense.
a lot. It does. All I'm saying is this: there's a lot of films. I'm not saying it's as good as those other movies, but there's a lot of thrillers like that. If you sit around and actually analyze them after, it's not like Vertigo's a ludicrous plan.
Yeah,
too,
it is.
from start to finish.
I've never
That's
been
all
the
I'm
biggest
saying,
fan of
though, but
Vertigo,
anyway.
to
No,
be
me
honest.
neither.
No, neither am I. But anyway, let's go
Anyway,
on. There's a
and-
lot
and-
of films where
anyway,
like, you
it's just
pick at it
like
after the
it's
fact.
like I keep thinking, like, knowing the reveal at the end and thinking back to it, none of it makes any
Well,
sense.
of course,
No,
no.
but
It's it's like
it
the
does make
game.
sense.
As a matter of
I mean, it
fact,
makes
all you're
sense,
doing
but-
is providing a witness
To a murder.
to the murder that you committed.
Yeah, but
But
in
Why
disguised
would you
to
do
someone
that?
else.
because he's in disguise.
Oh, please give me a
want-
fucking
Well,
break.
that is
No, because he's all the things he's done to make Bill Maher think he's after her.
Bill Maher, you sound like Alex with
He
your
wants to seem like a
mispronunciations.
stranger that'll
From
you
Dartmouth.
know, just a random stranger who will never be.
Yeah, no,
You'll never catch him because he doesn't exist.
exactly.
Except
So-
that, okay, but is he?
But no, it doesn't.
But
make,
is
I mean,
he
it's-
not the murder victim's husband?
Yeah.
And no one's going to notice that he like.
No,
That
because-
the witness is not going to know the wit. You find some sap fucking witness. You go,
Yep.
hey, look through this telescope and jerk off every day at 7:00 when Jeopardy's on.
Yeah.
right.
Which a lot of people do.
And coincidentally, the same week, within a couple of days, she gets fucking strangled.
Yep.
And so the witness.
No, she doesn't get strangled.
But surely the witness is going to go, oh, there was this weird guy. Well, no, we'll talk about how she actually dies, which is so
Awesome.
Anyway, fucking, it's like, oh yeah, there was this weird guy with a football-shaped head who came up to me and told me to, like, there's gonna be a paper trail back to you.
Yeah, but he's got an alibi, I guess, because I guess he doesn't have an alibi.
But does he own the house or doesn't he?
Don't know.
It's never established. But anyway, I'm not disagreeing that
It's fucking
ludicrous.
ridiculous.
It is.
There
it
is
but
no
it's-
alibi.
But it's
like,
really entertaining. I know. Anyway,
But
but anyway, the movie.
The witness, the witness witnesses this specific burnt
Why
Indian.
have the witness?
So that takes the suspicion away from you.
Why not just hire a hitman to murder your wife when she's
Because
dancing around?
that's too obvious.
What do you mean it's too?
And there wouldn't
I'm
be a-
sorry, it's too obvious.
Too obvious.
You should put on a rubber mask.
Yeah,
and
pretend
then
you're-
blow sparks everywhere
But
on a
he's-
fucking satellite dish. What?
You're-
Some fucking chump. Let's
you're-
bring another fucking loser. How many people can we have show up on the stand to go, oh yeah, football head showed up at my acting class and told me to look through this fucking this telescope.
But he's not suspecting it's football head.
It doesn't matter if he's suspecting or not. When the police investigate, it's all roads lead to football head.
All roads lead to the burnt Indian because that's who he saw do this.
He would describe someone
But
who
there
doesn't
is no-
exist. That's the thing, right? Exactly. And they would be out looking for this individual.
But sooner or later, they're going to come back to football head.
Well, you know what? There's no perfect crime.
Oh my God, there are episodes of Columbo that are so much more complicated than this fucking movie, and Columbo had it figured out in an hour, and this movie is like.
Well, Craig Wasson does figure
Eventually
it out.
figures it out. But also remember, he's a rube. He's a naive, spineless.
Anyways,
little-
sorry.
Ruby guy.
All right.
Anyways, let's get back to this movie here.
By the way, minor note that none of us have pointed out: the name of the movie that Craig Wasson is in,
Vampire's Kiss.
Vampire's Kiss.
That's right.
Which
yes.
is kind of awesome.
Well, when did that? This must have come out before
Oh,
Vampire's
it
Way
did,
before,
yeah.
yeah.
Vampire's Kiss is like
87 or
87,
something,
88.
Anyway, so
Post-
I forgot where we are in the movie.
Maybe even
So yeah,
89.
he's watched the guy in the fedora slap her around. He's seen the burnt Indian. I hate saying that, but that's what they refer to him as in the movie.
I call him Gene Simmons
Why is that?
because he looks just like Gene Simmons.
But
Okay, his
they,
tongue kept coming out.
He's just he's all wrinkly and he
Yeah.
wears ridiculous
Gene
sunglasses.
Simmons is pretty ugly. But so the lure is set, and then
the next day, he drives by her house.
yeah, and then
And he has
gets
to stop outside the house because there's been trees cut down, and he sees this, as referred to in the script, not cool, but as referred to in the script, the so-called the Indian. He's actually not referred to it as such yet,
Right.
but this mysterious stranger, this unusual.
let's call him the
looking
mysterious stranger.
For now, is lingering in the distance, watching her. And
Yeah.
so
And then she leaves her house, and she's sitting in her car. He's sitting, and this is when he's driving now. No more fake backgrounds. This is all, which is I don't know if it's what's the intent there, but I liked it.
Yeah.
Anyways, she's sitting in her car. He's sitting nervously in his car, waiting for the trees to be removed. And then the mysterious stranger is like menacingly.
Gene Simmons.
Gene Simmons is
In the
menacingly
distance.
standing by his truck. And
So
then
now he's establishing it in
You know,
Watson's mind.
okay.
I am stalking this woman.
Yeah.
Or this character is stalking
yeah, because
this
she
woman.
ends up leaving before he can,
Yeah.
and then the mysterious stranger takes off after her in his truck, and then so there's this great. This is my favorite part in the movie, is when he follows her all day
All right.
into different scenarios.
Before we get into that,
Uh-huh.
knowing what the big plot reveal is, so are you telling me that Gene Simmons' plot, his plan,
Mm-hmm.
was to put on a Gene Simmons mask and some sunglasses and lurk by a truck on the off chance
Off chance,
Yeah,
yeah,
I know.
that
Yep.
that loser actor Bill Maher guy
Will
Happen-
drive
happen
by.
to drive up that
happens
street.
to
Yep.
maybe be driving by
Oh,
at the
I'm not-
exact same time that sexy actress lady is leaving.
I'm
Or-
not denying that it's completely
And,
convoluted.
well,
and
maybe
ridiculous.
he had been there 3 days prior, waiting for him to. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But the thing is, Bill Maher is now stalking her
What?
as well.
That's
Bill-
right.
What do I call him?
Hey,
Bill Maher. All right, Bill Maher.
Bill Maher is now stalking her as well. So she's being stalked by the
Well-
and
mysterious
he's
stranger.
so obvious too. Like I can't believe she just doesn't turn around.
he's
He's
so
like
obvious.
2 feet
Okay, well,
behind
hold
her
on.
the
at
whole
this mall.
following
He
her,
follows her to a mall.
which I find
I-
that so funny. But
Yeah.
it was so gripping, and I just kept like, wow, he's the worst.
Before we move on,
He's
I
totally
would,
like
I-
tailgating her. As
I
a
would
human
just like
being.
to. I would just like to point out that Bill Maher was very polite to the
security guard.
no, the possibly illegal immigrants.
Right, they were working on the
Whatever.
street.
I don't know what their situation is, but they're working on the street.
You went right to illegal immigrants.
Well,
so.
just I probably shouldn't have done that, but like whoever was working, he was nice. He's like, "Would you please mind moving
ruin your trees,
this fucking
your
tree
shrubberies
that's in the middle of the goddamn road
for some reason.
and they're dicks about it. They're like,
I know.
Oh, I guess.
yeah, sorry, we're keeping you.
but then he's like, thank you. Like he sounded Canadian when he
Because
drove
he's
by.
really nice. He's nice. He's naive.
Yeah.
You know, so he's still got that.
And so then he
sheen.
follows Gene Simmons, who is following sexy actress lady,
right.
And then they go into an underground. I love it when when it's like they're up in the Hollywood Hills,
Mm-hmm.
so it's fairly quiet. And as soon as they get down the hill, like it's a smash cut to like just the streets of L.A., and you hear like.
Oh yeah,
Right?
like someone's driving by with their horn.
But
just
there was
like,
no car.
I
It was
know.
like, where's that coming from?
Yeah,
And
I noticed that as well.
And then they drive down into an underground parkade, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be like a gross underground parkade. I was so wrong. It was a beautiful hotel.
It was a beautiful hotel.
I got to go to L.A. where the underground parkades are beautiful hotels.
Well, this one happened to be a beautiful hotel. She
Had
was
a valet.
She's obviously a rich woman.
Yes.
Yeah, and she's going to a lingerie store, and he's walking 2 feet behind her.
Oh, I love that.
He uses a payphone right next to her.
Yeah, it's so obvious. She stops to look.
He's totally in her space.
Well,
the whole time.
she stops to look in the window, and he's walking up the stairs and stops at the top of the stairs and just puts his finger on his head and looks around, checks his watch.
When
It's
she's
so silly.
When she's on the payphone, and also the valet. Like, I guess he took his shitty car. You've been parking Porsches all day.
Yeah,
And you pull up in a Volvo,
it's
like
with a rust painted door, or whatever.
don't get a scratch on it. Anyway, so the Credence tape is in the glove compartment. Don't touch it.
Don't touch it. It's only one.
But then she's on the payphone, and he's like right next to her, and he's not saying a word, and she's like. Blah, blah, blah.
Okay, I'll meet you. This and that.
This specific hotel and address at this time. I'll be there. Blah, blah, blah. And then she hangs up, and he's like almost staring at her. And he's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, sell my stocks. Buy,
whatever.
No, he's a terrible...
He's
follow.
so obvious.
He's so obvious.
Yeah,
but
and the escalator. She gets on the escalator. Does he wait until she's halfway up?
No,
he's literally
like two steps
he's
behind
on
her.
her ankles. Yeah.
And he does is he turns the other way and like leans on the like just do.
But the thing is, I love this scene just the way it's shot because it's a tight close up of her getting on the escalator and then him, and then it slowly pulls out, and he's like the camera's at the top of the mall there. And it encompasses the whole thing. And I just like this to me. I love this. This is my favorite part of the movie. That is the following stuff because there's no dialogue. It's just them following each other.
See,
I love that stuff. It just reminds me of old '70s films, just with telling the story without having any dialogue.
And I found it extra amusing because it was like we're saying, he's so close. It was kind of just poorly directed. Maybe not poorly directed, but it's the most obvious. Stalking,
but we find
it gave me a level of amusement.
But if we find out later that she knew that he was there,
but I want to talk about this.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course she knew. Well, yeah. But like this is again where Brian De Palma's style gets in the way.
I love it.
Of the story.
I love it.
He kept.
I mean,
he's going
it's
like
explained later she knew that, but while I was watching not knowing she knew. It was amusing because he was so obvious.
But the way it's just for me, the way it's filmed as well. That's what I love about De Palma. He's a filmmaker.
It's really filmed.
He's a stylistic filmmaker.
I shouldn't have said badly directed. It feels that way.
I will say badly directed.
Because no, it's not because he is a rube. But me not knowing as the viewer yet that she's in on it, I was just laughing because it's like, how obvious can this?
It
was
okay.
I was waiting for her to turn around at any moment.
Hold on, but this scene is crucial to what I didn't like about Brian De Palma directing this.
No, that's okay. If you don't like his style, that's fine.
I found that the style got in the way of the story.
No, it adds to it.
It's like all of a sudden he's just trying so fucking hard to be stylistic.
That's what he does. He's a director.
Yeah,
he's a stylistic director.
I found it impossible to engage with the story or what was going on because it was like, huh?
It was my favorite part of the movie, and even the ridiculous part where she goes in the lingerie shop, and he's like leering in the window, and she goes to try on underwear. Do people try on underwear? I don't think they do.
Well,
do they?
Maybe rich people do.
I guess. I don't know. But she's in the booth, and of course she doesn't even close the curtain.
Yeah.
So it's so voyeuristic and leering and sleazy, but I really liked it.
So and it's funny how the owner is totally appalled, as she would be and should be, and calls for security. But at the same time, it's like, why are your dressing rooms positioned in that way? I mean,
Right.
not that you should
Right,
be
the
like,
window.
I don't want to, it's certainly not the fault of the women using the rooms, but yeah, if you open up a lingerie store and you basically put the dressing rooms where people are allowed to put on the underwear right in the window, like
Yeah, I just
not in the back.
They
or
should have like a
whatever.
window in the change room.
I'm
With a ladder
It's
next
just
to it.
funny
You
because
just
she
climb
calls.
up in this.
She calls and she calls the security, the
Yeah.
owner of the store, and she's like, we have a problem or whatever. But it's like it must happen so often in that store because the dressing room is right, there in the window.
And there's like,
even
and,
if the curtain's closed,
and it's probably the
totally
only
like,
store you could go try on
There's
underwear.
you know what? There's probably a body double story happening every day in LA. Like this is just one of like 365 that happen in a year. Anyway,
naked city.
so he keeps following her to the beach. I
Actually,
guess?
before that though, there's a funny scene when he follows her and she gets on the elevator and it goes up. But we also have the mysterious stranger running around the mall stalking her as well.
Yeah, he sees him
Which
running
is
to cut her off.
Yeah, and
almost.
he's big and he's kind of menacing. He's wearing like a mesh shirt. I don't know. He looks
because when you're setting up a fake alibi, what you want to do is put on your rubber fucking Freddy Krueger mask and go to a public place in broad daylight where everyone can see how fake you look.
But we never get a really good look at him.
Yeah, and also not knowing that that's what's happening yet, at least I didn't know. I was like, whoa, why the hell is this guy like trying to cut? Who is this creepy other guy? By the way, not once until the script referred to him did I think, gee, this person looks like, as they say in the script in Indian.
No, I didn't think so
this
either.
person in no way, shape, or form actually looks First Nations or whatever. I just thought this weird looking dude with
who looked like he'd been in a fire or something.
Yeah, it was like
He looked like the
monster makeup.
bass player from
He
Kiss.
did, and
Gene Simmons.
yeah, there's even a point where other people see him, like the elevator doors open and you see
Oh,
the
that
mysterious stranger there. And when he doesn't get on the elevator and when the elevator doors close, everyone's like, oh my God, did you
Yeah.
see that guy? They're like laughing.
But
at him.
that scene was funny because like he runs the elevator and opens and it's just her. And it's like, what does he do? He's like,
All sweaty.
all sweaty because he's been running. So
Yeah.
he gets on the elevator with her, and it's so awkward. And then all of a sudden, the elevator doors open, and there's like 40 people pile into it. It's like it just jams into it.
Well, the movie
And
just
then
got
the
out.
doors, and then the doors open again.
Not
and
COVID
you
friendly.
see the creepy stranger.
Yeah,
mysterious
but
stranger.
that was a good scene because you got a good look at him. He looked
Okay.
creepy. He had sunglasses
And again,
on.
And everyone
so
else has
presumably
noticed
going
as
back to
well.
the bad guy's plan, he puts on this fucking Freddy Krueger mask or the Gene Simmons mask or whatever, and he follows her around or
Yeah.
whatever, and he makes sure that everyone on this fucking elevator can see.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, so your wife was murdered, sir. Where were you? Oh, well, I was up in Seattle filming a movie.
Although that's pretty easy to
Yeah, what
to
movie?
call
what
Seattle.
fucking movie were you
Yeah,
filming?
phone Seattle.
You just called the mayor
But-
of Seattle. No movies this week.
Well, fair enough. No, I know it's ridiculous, but at this point, the point is we don't know that. Like the way you're talking about it is like I would be questioning the movie as it went along if I knew already it was him, but I didn't know it was him at this point.
Yeah.
So I was totally intrigued by the story.
Sure, in the moment.
I know it doesn't hold up. I don't. But that's the thing. Like I don't want to just moment by moment block it by thinking about how ludicrous the guy's plan was because I don't even know what the guy's plan is yet. And the fact is, I was intrigued, even though it seemed I was intrigued that he was stalking this woman, but at the same time, there was this second person stalking him.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about the boring guy who rented them the room at this point, and I didn't know it was her husband. Like I know
Yeah, but
the plan, but the way
that's
you're
the
talking about
problem
it's
with
like,
the ends of movies.
Well, the end,
is
yeah.
they reveal things, and then your brain is forced to go, "Oh, that didn't make any
but-
sense."
No, fair enough. But while you're just watching this movie and not knowing, I found it pretty cool.
Yeah, I
at
guess.
this point.
All
The
right.
cat
Yeah,
and those
yeah.
two strangers
hon-
stalking this
honestly,
woman.
like there's actually a moment later in this film when it gets all weird and meta, and I was praying that this whole thing was just a nightmare, so that it would make sense. Like, oh,
there was a scene that near the end that I said, "This was a fucking dream."
yes, and I was hoping, like,
Yeah.
please tell
No,
me.
I was hoping it was not because I hate those
Because
things.
the only
Yeah.
way it would have made sense would be if it was a fucking dream. But then they're like, no, it's real. Anyway, so then he almost fucks her on the beach.
Well,
Can we just
no,
cut to
well,
that?
no,
No, they
that
go to
didn't
the
happen at all.
hotel.
No, so he follows her to the beach again, way too close.
Remember though, but oddly, before we go, it's also important. she leaves in her car before he does, and the underwear she bought, she just leaves behind in the trash.
And he grabs it
on the top of like this totally open trash can, and he takes.
By the way, what is her
underwear.
motivation for doing anything?
Yeah, why did she throw the underwear in the trash?
We never find out. Who knows?
It's kind of a weird thing because she bought the underwear and just throws it in the trash.
Yeah. But it's a very
Well,
weird thing. And then he takes the underwear, which
she was
is
already
also
sick.
really weird.
She's like, I don't like this underwear.
Follows.
I'm rich.
I'm tired of this underwear.
Maybe
I just tried on.
Or perhaps
for 4 seconds.
maybe she's put on the new underwear, and these are the old underwear she's.
Oh, that could be because
yeah.
I
just thought of that now.
Anyway, then he.
I love this.
He confronts her.
Well, no, I love
he follows her to
he
the
follows her to the
motel.
beach. This is again, I love the way this is filmed. You know, it's got those tents set up on the beach. The camera's moving through the tents. You got the. I'm watching it. The guy, the mysterious stranger. I'm thinking, oh man, his face is going to start melting soon because it doesn't quite look real.
Yeah.
And he's in the hot sun.
Yeah.
But then he finally confronts her.
So so Bill
sees
Maher.
him, too, from the
So Bill
balcony.
Maher is like,
she's on the phone in the hotel on the beach, like one balcony up from him. He's standing directly under her, listening to her.
Above her.
Above her?
Well, he's
above
on
her.
the
That's right.
sand at first, and
Yeah.
she sees him.
No, but
then he sneaks back up onto a balcony.
Right, he's above her. Okay, he might as well have had his hand to his ear, like leaning over. Because, like, how could you not even see him standing there? He's as close as we are right now.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
It's totally ridiculous. Yeah,
but it's just as much as all these ridiculous things were going on, I just having so much fun watching this. I was like, I can skim over that
because I knew everything was ludicrous. Or felt ludicrous, but at this point, without knowing, obviously, the ending stuff that Dylan keeps hammering us with, it's like,
the plot resolution.
Exactly.
I'm such an asshole.
No, I'm not saying that at all, but I'm just saying, still watching this film for the first time at this point, still I'm thinking, like, this is all ludicrous, this is ridiculous, but I'm really enjoying it. What the hell's going on?
Yeah. We're enjoying it. That's what you're supposed to do with a film like this. Enjoying it.
I was not having that experience at all.
Well,
I was bored out of my fucking mind.
You know why?
Oh, I was enjoying it
because you watched it at 1 p.m. on a sunny day, having to go to work soon.
Yeah.
Well, how are you going to enjoy? I'm sorry, I didn't read the back of the box. It's like a gremlin. Only watch after midnight.
Movies should only be watched at nighttime.
Look, I would have loved to.
Or in the dark, anyways.
Well, last night. I thought about watching it at midnight, but then I thought, like, I'm going to be too sleepy, and I've had a few drinks. I want to be sharp and clear for this.
I started.
Brian De Palma masterpiece.
I watched it at midnight on Saturday
and
night.
Anyway, whatever.
I watched it Thursday.
There was
night
just
after
too
work.
much following. It's like, okay, I get it.
I love the following stuff. I love it.
Anyways, let's get on with it.
So the mysterious stranger runs and grabs her purse.
He says first.
First,
they
Bill
speak,
Maher.
And he says that you're being followed, and she's like, I know.
And then which
guy's following you?
It's
Yeah, but she also knew that he was following.
Oh, that too.
Yeah. She's probably always followed.
And then
I mean, if you're changing your knickers willy nilly
and dancing naked in
every, you're gonna get followed.
Possibly.
I mean, I'm not saying you deserve to.
No, of course not.
Obviously, no means no and everything.
Yes,
but at the same time,
you can do whatever you want and not expect to be harassed.
But you'll probably get followed by a guy in a rubber mask and
like Gene
and a guy
Simmons.
who looks like Bill Maher.
Yeah.
Anyway, so. We still have all that porno stuff to get to.
Oh, we haven't got there yet.
So,
he chases Gene Simmons, who runs down.
Gene Simmons does. This is probably my favorite moment in the whole movie, actually, because I love a good old purse snatching.
He snatches.
You never see that anymore.
No,
like someone just running and snatching a purse.
Again, thickening the plot for our hero to figure out, setting all those traps. But he chases him down. He runs down a tunnel. And, of course, I got that. It's like the vertigo thing. The tunnel gets long because he's got the claustrophobia.
Yes.
And he can't make it through the tunnel. When I'm watching, I'm thinking this, have you ever seen Irreversible?
No.
Oh, yeah, you probably wouldn't enjoy that one.
Devastating movie.
Yeah. But there's a scene in a tunnel that I'm not going to get into.
It's the scene to end all scenes in tunnels.
Yes. And then so as soon as I saw that reminded me, I wonder if Gaspar Noé... maybe he got an inspiration from that. Who knows? But anyways, I'm looking at because he stops. He can't chase him, and then the mysterious stranger stops running, and looks back and starts mocking him.
Yeah, fucks around with
Yeah,
them.
and I'm like, you can see exactly.
And he empties
who
the
this is.
purse and he takes something pink out of it. I have no idea what he took.
It's like the key card.
A key card.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a credit card or an ID card.
Well, she had that. If you notice,
they say later what it was.
well, if you notice the key card they used to go into her building, you swipe it on the side of the building.
That's right.
There's actually no little pad, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
I've never
Okay.
seen that before.
So how did she get back into her building if her key card had been stolen?
That's a good question.
She had two, maybe.
And
Yeah.
also, like, there's a believability to claustrophobia, and that tunnel, like, you could clearly see the end. It wasn't.
Yeah, well, he could clearly see the outside of the coffin he was buried in the movie too. So
Yeah, again,
I don't know.
yeah.
I've never. You're the expert in claustrophobia here. You tell us.
So anyway, I thought that was pretty neat, him clamming up with the claustrophobia. He can't totally prevent the guy basically, the purse gets the contents, the mysterious stranger dumps out the contents of the purse right in front of him, takes what he needs and runs away, like kind of with a victory cry.
And then
Craig Wasson's reduced to like a sweaty mess on the ground. 'cause
Also, okay,
he's
wait, okay.
claustrophobic.
Now hold on. You're another question. You're sorry, and I'm sorry that my hang-ups on the plot mechanics. You're a murderer.
I am.
So it's a question mark.
Oh, okay. Because you're looking at me when you said
If
that.
you were a murderer, would you take the one thing out of the purse and run away, and then just leave the rest of the purse there, so that say the police could look and go, "Oh, he's going to use the thing you took,"
Probably should have taken the whole
or
purse.
would you just take the whole thing and they go, "Oh, he's a drug addict. He's going to sell your purse or whatever."
Masturbated
Like,
in it.
why would you take? Ha ha! I got the keys. Now I'm going to break into the house and
Well,
murder you.
we all were unsure what he took either. Alex thought it was a credit card. I thought it was a credit card. I thought it was maybe a driver's license. I don't know. It doesn't. But yeah.
But he was sure of what he was taking
Yep.
in the movie. So
Yeah.
see, a smart rubber-faced Gene Simmons maniac
Well,
would just keep the purse.
Well, I'm not even
Yep.
thinking about that at this point. He's run away, and now the woman that's been stalked comes in
And finds
to
him
the
like
tunnel,
pissing his
finds
pants
him,
because he can't walk through
He's all sweaty.
a broad
Gets her-
daylight small tunnel. She's like, "I have to fuck you."
Oh yeah. Then
Oh, you're such an
Gets her
alpha.
item,
Oh my
gets
god.
the item, gets the purse and everything back together, and leads him out of the tunnel.
And then they start making out, and he's like undressing her, and he
They
grabs her by the
almost-
throat.
I
They
thought,
almost
though,
fuck.
Yeah.
but that's the thing, but I didn't actually believe a lot of that was even happening. There was kind of a Walter Mitty-ish angle to this movie, and it comes up later in the film too. I totally thought that was just weird fantasy, not really
was
happening.
because it was weird. It was weird in the movie, and she was
Yeah.
not a very good actor. Like all of her line deliveries were like breathy, and I guess there's supposed to be some sort of femme fatale kind of thing going on there, but
she's asthmatic.
maybe she's asthmatic.
Yeah.
She had asthma, bad case of asthma. But
Oh,
the whole it's like they almost have sex right
They
there in
do,
the
but
tunnel.
I didn't believe it was actually happening. I thought it was some kind of weird flight of fancy.
Okay, well,
on
here's
his
an
part.
idea. Okay, so how is there a percentage of this movie that's meant to be just abject fantasy, and they never really let on? Because
Maybe.
there are a number of scenes in this movie that are so fucking ridiculous and
Yeah.
impossible to believe.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe
Who knows?
it might explain the terrible ending to this movie. Anyway, so blah blah blah. Lots of borrowing.
So-
lots of boring following.
So after the scene ends,
purse snatch. Terrible. Blue
he's
screen.
back in the space jail apartment, the neon space jail apartment, and again, you know, he wants to call her, and the line that he throws out, "Hey, you remember me? I almost fucked you in that tunnel this afternoon."
Yeah,
It's like,
I
We're on the
almost
beach
fucked you on the
today, I think.
beach.
fucked you on the beach.
Although I will
He's
say
like,
this,
"No,
actually,
that's
Darren,
terrible."
That's a terrible line.
Darren, you might be onto something with the blue screen being a reflection of it, because I noticed when they were making out, the camera was like, it looked so phony.
Yeah, it had like a weird sort of like almost like a soap opera, like a sheen to it.
Yeah, like the
Like a
background
Vaseline or
was,
something.
It was too far away and the lighting was off. So yeah, it might have been a fantasy.
Yeah.
So he goes back home to peep again
Mm-hmm.
and keep wanking because he doesn't have a job anymore and his girlfriend left him.
Right.
I hope he watered those plants.
Yeah, well, the plants are doing well
That
at this point.
would have been a great ending if the guy comes home, he's like, "We didn't even water my plants."
It would be
And why is there-
very symbolic of all the plants were dead.
And why is there semen all over the floor?
All over the plants. I did water the plants. He didn't say with what. Anyways.
So he's back to peeping.
Yeah, and back to peeping, and this is the most controversial scene in this movie, because I remember when this came out, and De Palma was slammed for this movie.
He was.
Just for being misogynistic and violent and sleazy and the whole thing. It was like a very controversial film at the time.
Yeah, okay.
Because especially this scene here. So he sees that the mysterious stranger is in the apartment. He's got this absurdly long drill that he's drilling out the safe with to steal what's ever in her safe. That's the sort of the MacGuffin that he's led to believe he's there to rob her.
Yes.
And she comes home, and
She's let in by a security person or something, isn't she?
Because
Someone
she doesn't
in
have her
uniform, yeah.
because she doesn't have her card.
Oh, that explains how she got in.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go. And so like this is ratcheting up the tension. This is right out of Rear Window, especially at the end when you've seen Rear Window.
Yes.
When at the end when is it Grace Kelly? Yeah, she's in the.
No, I think his name is Jimmy Stewart.
No, but
Right. Okay.
she's in Raymond Burr's apartment, like looking for evidence.
Oh, it's horrifying.
And then you see him coming down the hallway to come in like this.
It's so good.
It's so good.
I wish we watched that.
I
Instead.
know. Whenever I'm always like, I'd rather be watching. Rear Windows. It's great. Anyways, we're at the famous drill scene. So Bill Maher sees this. Obviously, there's something bad going on. I don't know the woman's name.
Cut to the chase. The bad guy looks like he's
going to kill her.
He tries to phone.
He phones her and very uselessly says
he's behind you.
Don't get strangled with the phone, and then she immediately gets strangled with the phone.
Yeah, and so he runs over there, and obviously it's a long way. The funniest thing, he's running up behind two runners, and he's yelling up. I guess they have headphones on, they can't hear him.
Yeah,
and he goes, "There's a woman being murdered," and he just blows by them. Like, these guys are runners.
But
he's so fast. He just
so fast. He recruits them though too.
Yeah, and he gets to the house.
Them.
He gets to the house and he throws a chair through the window, I think, and then the dog attacks him.
And then the up until now totally useless dog.
Well, we know why that dog was totally useless later.
Again, another fucking cop out. Anyway, so
we'll see how that's a cop out.
In what would be funny if it was a comedy, he gets mauled by the dog.
Yeah, and the dog's actually he's actually chewing on him because he's got blood coming. He's covered in blood.
It'd be like if Jimmy Stewart actually hobbled down to Raymond Burr's house. And it's like, you gotta get, and all of a sudden Raymond Burr's dog just mauled him.
His tiny little dog.
So he's getting mauled by the dog. And
and this is when he sees the drill come through the ceiling.
Yeah,
which was I thought.
I
remember
it's
my older sister seeing this movie back in the day, and she told me later, like at the time when the film was, oh God, it's so horrible, and this woman's gonna get killed with a big drill. You see it come through the ceiling.
I thought it was a great shot.
Well, it is a great shot, but I just remember it being trashed by my sister.
Okay. First of all, she's getting strangled with the phone.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then I guess she kind of punches him in the face or something, then he falls over.
Right.
And she manages to get away.
A little bit.
And then she trips and falls over, and I'm like, okay, that's just standard horror
she whacks
movie.
her head or something like that.
Yeah, whatever. And then he just happens to have this giant drill, and then the way it's framed is his legs are spread. She's lying on the floor, and his legs are spread.
This big dick's coming down.
And this big old drill is just coming on down.
Yeah, De Palma said that was unintentional at the time. He said the reason the drill was so big is so dude in the other house could see what was going on.
That's fine, but I do not believe for a second that shot was unintentional. It's like when John Lennon said Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds isn't about LSD. You can say whatever you want, but we all know the truth.
Of course. But
it is the least subtle.
It's pretty insane, actually. If you think this is like a fairly big budget Hollywood movie, this is pretty fucking crazy.
It is, but it was totally the era of the slasher and Friday the 13th and stuff.
But those are low budget.
They are low budget, but I mean, it made sense that a Hollywood film would aim for that in this era. Like it's pretty intense that they do it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it makes sense.
So,
intense yet makes sense.
So then the cop shows up, and
the cop's really intense. Really intense and constantly smoking.
I always hate these scenes in movies where the one witness is not believed by the police.
Right.
And at this point, you see, this is where it's funny because we were talking earlier about, these guys are like grown men. Craig Wasson and the guy who dupes him are grown men. They're acting like little kids watching this woman dance. But this is where, like, it makes sense at this point in the movie. The cop, like, obviously he's told the cop, I was spying on this woman, and that's how I witnessed his murder and stuff. But the cops totally call him out as a pervert and a criminal.
Well, they find the panties in his pocket, too.
That too, which I thought was hilarious because like he said them in his pockets all day. Because I kind of forgot about the panties at that point, and they looked down, and when the cop first looked down, I thought for a split second it's like his pocket inside out and something's falling out. I didn't know though it was actually the panties, and I totally laughed out loud when the cop like reaches to Craig Watson's pocket and pulls up the panties.
How long has he had them in his pocket?
How long has he had them? Like the fact
in his one corduroy jacket with the elbow patches.
With the elbow patches, yeah.
Oh, I love the elbow patches.
I love that look. I used to have a jacket with that.
You still do,
wasn't corduroy.
And
I
it
would.
came with
I
panties
just
in the
don't
pocket.
have no one now. No panties in the pocket though, unfortunately. But I like the elbow patch look. I've done it before.
So yeah, actually later on the cop says, "Oh, if it isn't Bill Maher." Hollywood's busiest sex offender. Yeah. And I'm like, not by a long shot, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, hell no.
So we cut back. He's gone back to his spinning sex dungeon, and he's destroyed all the plants.
And he's plastered. He's totally
the plants are all knocked over.
And he's ripped drunk out of his mind.
So he's sitting on the bed watching porn.
Yeah.
And this is when things get sleazy and really fucking weird in this movie.
Yeah.
It's almost like another movie.
He's watching. Okay, first it's like an ad like porno. Hey, do you like porno? Of course you do. Porno's awesome. We'll buy some porno down here at the fucking porno store. And then it cuts to like, by the way, Melanie Griffith, who's in that porno movie, now she's on this creepy talk show. Where a guy who looks like the principal from Head of the Class. Okay, that's a reference that's lost on everyone in this room.
I have not seen any Head of the Class.
I've seen Head of the Class, but I certainly don't remember the.
Okay, and I think it's the same actor, but it's like, hey, porno actress, what's your next thing? Oh, well, we got a fucking game show called The Dong Game, and or whatever it is, and they're naked and they're just like sitting there doing a talk show on TV. And it's like, that's fine when it's Melanie Griffith going like, sure, it's the Dong Game. And, yeah, we're doing a horror called Dongula and all of this. And then it cuts to the host. And it's like some guy in his 50s nude.
Yeah.
Who, I swear to God, played the principal on Head of the Class.
Let's hope it was.
But he's totally naked. He's like, well, we'll be back after this commercial break with more.
Hope he's a principal somewhere.
It's just such a weird...
It is totally
gross
weird,
naked
creepy.
talk show.
It is.
And based on this, Bill Maher is like, oh my God, that Melanie Griffith porno actress who I just saw dancing, coincidentally, it's the same dance I saw in the silhouette.
Yep.
That's right.
So he decides to become a porno actor.
Which is
and
this is the movie. This is when it goes totally off the rails. It's no longer this awesome noir Hitchcock thing, which I'm totally enjoying. And like all of a sudden, it's a fucking Frankie Goes to Hollywood video.
Yeah,
literally. So
I didn't know.
And we can skip over his audition.
No, I like that.
He goes in and he fucking blah blah blah, and it's like take off your clothes and this that and the other. But he's trying.
He gets the part. He must be well endowed because he got the part just like that.
He's trying to get to yes.
Melanie Griffith. Yeah.
He's trying to get to Melanie Griffith, whose name is Holly
Body.
Yes.
Not a real name.
Which is the lamest porno name.
Pretty bad name.
And for whatever reason, he's cast as the lead in this apparently $1 million porno movie featuring the music of Frankie Goes to Hollywood
and virtually no sex.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks like Cabaret. It's like Joel.
What's his
Joel
face?
Grey. It's like Joel Grey. Seriously, he's got the white gloves and the suit. He's like, relax, don't do
Holly
it.
Johnson.
And I'm like, is this Cabaret? I guess this is probably a fucking another thing De Palma's ripping off.
When I first watched this back in 84 or 85, this is what I remember about this movie. And not because of what, because it's like it's supposed to be like set on a porn site or anything. It's like, what the fuck just happened to my movie I was enjoying? It's like a completely. It's
like from dusk till dawn, like
video.
halfway through.
Yeah.
Instead of becoming a vampire movie, it becomes a fucking porno movie.
The Dust Till Dawn became.
You've
a porno
seen
movie?
From Dust Till Dawn.
Yeah, it's like because it's no.
The first half
part,
is-
it's a serial killer movie.
The first half is a shit, and the
which
second
is
half
really
is a
good.
vampire movie.
Yeah, because
which is also really good.
Yeah,
but it depends
But
on what you're into.
but they don't really mesh very well. I didn't think in that movie, and I don't think it works at all in this movie either. Because when they do this, the Frankie Goes to Hollywood bit, and then later on, he's like the sleazy porn producer with the slick back hair. And
okay,
like,
so
where did this guy come from?
Yeah, but it's really weird too because it's like, is Frankie Goes to Hollywood supposed to be like a big band in the movie because they were so huge at the time? It's weird that a song of theirs would be in a porno. It's like, and is it a porno? Is it just a pornographic music video? It's really weird because
I know it doesn't really explain anything because porns don't have music videos.
No, they don't, and especially top bands of that time. I was a fanatic of Frankie Goes to Hollywood in grade 7. I loved. They had 2 singles, Relax and 2 Tribes, and I was obsessed with both songs. And then an album came out that was totally lackluster, but the first 2 songs were huge hits.
They were big hits.
And really
never
had controversial videos. Some people don't even realize this, like Relax as a 45, because it was only a 45 before it ended up on an album.
Oh.
It's one of the top selling European singles in history. Like, it's like up there with like Michael Jackson Thriller. I don't mean the Frank Goes to Hollywood album, but that 45.
That's pretty good for a song about ejaculation.
Yeah, it is. The song's from '83, and the original video, which wasn't directed by Brian De Palma or anything. I think it was Godley and Cream. These video directors of that
Alfred
era.
Hitchcock, I think,
it's
directed
set in a gay bar. It's incredibly explicit. Like, it was designed basically, let's make a video that'll never get played on mainstream TV in a million years. Like, it'll create a lot of controversy. And there's even a golden shower in the video. It's really crazy. But it became a hit in North America with an alternate video where they're on a soundstage, the band. There's nothing sexual at all. I mean, the lyrics, obviously, but they're goofing off in laser beams. I'm going somewhere with this. But the song...
You better be, counselor.
The song was big. Yeah, the song was like massive in Europe. It was a hit in Canada, but it actually still wasn't a hit in the States outside of clubs. But what happened was then they appeared in this movie, and yet another version of the video came out.
What movie was that? The Secret of Nim?
No, Body Double, obviously.
The Body of Double.
And De Palma directed not only this scene in the movie, but he directed a new video for the song, because the song was re-released. Like, it's 84, but it's like during this sequence.
Was
during
Melanie
the
Griffith in the video then too?
Be wrong, but I think Divine was even in the video. By the way, De Palma had already established himself as a major music video director at the time. He directed Dancing in the Dark, the video. Relax by Frank Goes to Hollywood, the last territory where it became a hit, and it was in the United States, and it was directly because of this movie. But anyway, to
make a short story long.
Make a short story long. Oh, but here's the thing. The only 2 members of Frankie Goes to Hollywood in the video are Holly Johnson, who's like the Joel Grey kind of MC, and Paul Rutherford, who sang backup.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Paul Rudd.
Me too.
And I was like, oh, please.
Paul Rudd's in that?
By the way,
Like an 11-year-old Paul Rudd.
When this song came out in 1984,
excited.
I did not know yet what it meant. I just thought it was like a song about relaxing. When you want to come over and relax with us, like we're just hanging out. I thought it was a hangout song.
Hey, you want to come over and relax?
I bought.
When
My
you
friend
wanna
said it all the
come.
time.
But I took home the record, and my older brother, who was totally devoutly religious fanatic guy, he was sitting there, and my older sister, kind of wild and crazy party girl, was also in the room. And they're like, "What did you buy?" And I played the song for them, not knowing what it was about.
Did you dance around
And
to
so
it?
it's like, relax, don't do it when you want to suck or chew it. But you can't make out the way he sings it. But he's like, when you want to suck or chew it, when you want to come.
When you,
And I didn't know what the
what?
song
what
meant.
is
Suck-
what is
suck a
sucker-
Well, it's relax, don't do it.
What
When
is-
you want to go to it, relax, don't do it. When you want
wanna
to come,
suck or chew
relax, don't do it. When you want to suck or chew it,
What is it?
relax,
Suck or chew it.
suck or
suck
chew
or
it.
chew what?
Suck. Well,
What do you think?
when you want to come. But anyway,
Okay,
I
everyone-
played
people
the
love chewing
45.
dicks.
I played the 45, and my brother became totally
Did they say
ashen
suck or
faced.
chew it?
Suck or chew it at one point. Yeah,
Nobody chews on a dick.
but
I'm going to steal Darren's joke, but yeah, suffer and sucker.
that's how I've
Suck at
always
that.
heard
sucker
it. Though. But anyway,
chewish chat.
well, actually, I had
I want you to come.
Yeah, so I'm playing the
in this story,
Yeah, well,
so we can
if
continue
you-
talking about the movie.
Well, I keep getting story interruptus from you. So I played the record. My sister, I didn't know what the record meant at all. I played it. My sister laughed uncontrollably, and my brother grew stone-faced and ashen and horrified when the song ended. He just said,
he looked at Medusa.
He actually specifically named me.
Medusa
He
lived in
goes,
his
if
house.
our Aunt Jean's ever over here, never play that record in front of her. 'Cause
Okay, I
Aunt Jean-
won't.
But I had a teen kind of like a teen fan magazine that had lyrics.
Tiger
They
Beat?
claimed the lyrics
What does
were.
this have to do with the movie?
Nothing.
Well, I'm talking
absolutely
about
nothing.
relax. The lyric magazine claimed that the lyrics were relax, don't do it when you want to sock to it, like SOKE. But
Doesn't make any sense.
years
S-O-K-E.
later, I
That's
read
so
It's not
Okay.
even a word.
I read an article written by Tipper Gore, who was a major
You
censor rock
loved Tipper
lyrics.
Gore, didn't you?
She was the one who transcribed it as when you want to suck or chew it. But that's what I pretty sure I've seen it on karaoke too.
I thought it was
suck or
just.
chew it.
I thought it was just go to it.
There's relax, don't do it when you want to go to it. Relax, don't do it when you want to come.
Okay, and
Relax, don't do it when you want to suck or chew it. Relax.
And on the
don't do
next
it.
episode of Behind the
Come.
Music,
Yeah.
Spoken word.
Holly Johnson.
Behind the Music has invaded the Black Dog
Anyway,
podcast.
only Holly
No.
Johnson and Paul Rutherford appeared in the video. They're in the music video, but not in the movie. The music video within the movie.
This will be on the DVD extras.
Oh, my
of
God.
the podcast.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. This is not a filibuster. We're not.
Filibuster's my middle name.
It is.
You're not Jimmy Stewart.
I am Jimmy Stewart.
You are?
I am.
That was. I have to admit, Alex, that was impressive.
I knew too much.
Holy
about Frank Goes to
shit.
Hollywood
You sure
that
did.
day.
Holy shit! Do you know too much about
Frank Goes
random
to Hollywood.
subjects? But I guess that's life.
I loved them
That's
as a
life.
kid. I was-
Okay.
yeah, but the
And now our
album
fucking
came out
sound
and
guy
he
is
just
is
left.
just leaving.
The
Yeah,
first two
you can't
singles
take it
were
anymore.
classics, and then the album came out, and it was like totally lame.
Okay. So
and I got over them.
All right. So Bill Maher
Mahar.
gets a part in this porno movie and
Turns into a sleazy movie producer.
Blah blah blah. Highest budget porno movie ever.
Yeah.
And then, but it's weird because like the camera follows him. He comes in, and I wrote down Johnny LaRue from
From SCTV.
SCTV.
John Candy.
Once
I'm
a
like, all of a
screenshot?
sudden he's Johnny LaRue. He's like this
know.
sleazeball in a leather jacket.
Yeah, like he's
eh.
done a complete 180 in his character. Maybe it's because he saw her get murdered, but there's no transition between that and him posing as a sleazy
Is
porn
he,
guy.
Is he
Yeah,
ju-
'cause
but he is using his acting to solve a crime now, right?
Yeah,
Like-
but
like,
where
that's
do
the idea?
thing is, where do you get the balls for this? Because he's had no balls.
Where did he get the
It's-
leather?
Well, it's
And the-
yeah,
and the
I know.
hair,
Well,
the
the,
hair-
thing
the
that's
hair
really
jet,
funny too
though.
is one moment he's co-starring with her in the porn, and then the next moment he's posing as a porn producer.
Well, not
who
yet,
wants to
not yet,
cast her.
not yet.
But and also what weird later, shortly after that, she goes on about she knows everyone in the business.
Oh,
yet
wait,
she's
wait.
never heard of her
wait,
co-star.
We'll
slash
get to that.
producer.
Right now, he's like
Yeah.
he's just done the audition, and for some
got
reason,
the role.
For some reason, yeah. But the role apparently is walking down the stairs in what looks like a huge music video production.
Yeah.
And with a Joel Grey character.
Everyone's
It's
dancing
Holly
and
Johnson
there's music
and Frank
playing.
And now that you
Hollywood.
mentioned that it's tied into while Relaxed by Frankie Goes to Hollywood plays.
Because that's the lead singer of Frank.
Well,
Goes
I
to
didn't know
Hollywood,
any
is
of
the Joel
this.
Grey.
All I knew
Holly
is
Johnson.
all of a sudden I'm like, this guy's suddenly the biggest porno actor in Hollywood.
Yeah, no,
Good
it
for
is
him.
a bizarre
Anyway,
moment, yeah.
and then he goes down some hallway and he has this weird, like, earnest conversation sort of with Holly, and they just start grinding up against this weird pole. And I'm like, wait, is this a music video or is it a porno movie?
Yeah,
like, what
I know,
the
it's-
fuck is going
I
on?
know.
And
It's so
it isn't
crazy.
until you see the fucking
The cameras and the stuff in the
camera.
background.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess this is like.
Well, you still don't know if it's a movie, a music video, or a porn shoot.
And then he comes in his pants because
Is that what happened?
the AD is like, well, there's no money shot.
That's right. There's no cum shot.
Right? So it's like, okay, whatever. And then next thing you know, he just asks her out on a date, and she's like, yeah, sure, random guy who grinded up against me and came in his fucking pants.
And pretended to be somebody he wasn't.
And by the way, that's not a porno movie. Nobody watches a porno movie where they're fully clothed.
No. There's I always find that funny, the depiction of porn outside of, say, like Boogie Nights. There's so little sex in porn when it's done in a Hollywood movie, when it's
Yeah.
portrayed in a Hollywood movie.
I wish porn was like this. This
Way more
world.
interesting.
It wouldn't just be like
Pizza's here.
not even that. Like it's just like they fuck on a couch. That is what
Yeah.
porn is now. Like,
Yeah, they just wake up and start having sex.
it's always on a couch. Anyway, so then he's like, "Hey, I really want to. I'm going to make the Titanic of porno movies, and I'll give you a percentage, and I'll give you points." He says, "I'll give you points."
I have the words.
I
I have the words star whore written here.
It's almost like
Was that
That was a reference to another porno movie where some guy fucking came in his pants.
It's like Star Wars. It's called Star Wars.
This is worse than Star Wars or whatever.
I know
Anyway,
it is weird. I think it's just because they were playing on the fact that band, at least at that time, I mean, no one remembers.
please stop
this
talking
company.
about Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Well, they were just known for having really explicit videos.
Anyway,
so
We
Yes,
know.
I'm
we know.
sure.
So
We know.
it's a
I know
porno
way
video.
more about Frankie Goes to Hollywood than I ever wanted to know, thanks to this podcast.
Okay, so anyway, fuck. Okay, so he has some plan where he's like, I gotta go hang out with Melanie Griffith for some reason.
Well, because
By the way, she's crazy hot. Actually, in every movie she's ever been in, she's crazy
she's
hot.
she's actually the best actor, I think, in this movie. I think she's great in this movie.
Well, she's the only actor I gave a flying fuck about.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You know why? Because she's good in this.
I don't know if she's. Well, whatever. We won't. We're splitting hairs there.
Are we?
Anyway, so then he lures her back to.
He's figuring out what is going on at this point because he basically makes her tell him that she was dancing in the apartment with the wig on.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
So
right.
that because he recognized that dance from when he was in on the round bed, and then that's why all this whole thing happened.
Everything about this
whole
movie
thing happened.
is
He doesn't so much
utterly
It
unbelievable.
is, but he's not really asking her on a date. It's more like he's basically
No,
saying,
no.
I'm a producer
But
and
to
I want to
her,
cast you.
well,
and then,
whatever.
yeah.
Well, he just wants to find out the truth.
Of
So
course.
he's cheesy Johnny LaRue, and he's like, yeah, I'm making a fucking movie, and meh, meh, meh. And so then they go to some bar, and then he's.
They also go to a party briefly.
Yeah, and then
where
they
it's
run
full of other actors.
and they run into that other.
Oh,
guy.
recognize
right, that's
him,
right.
Who recognize him and who are wondering who she is.
Yeah.
And she's thinking they're other porno people.
Yeah, that
because
scene
he's
sucks.
pretending to be. It's really
Well,
brief and it's
I
barely in it.
don't think she does.
Totally
I don't,
unnecessary
I don't
scene.
think she, no. It's a pretty funny scene. It's making
I
fun.
found
It's
it
making
pretty
fun
funny
of.
too.
It's funny.
Shallow
it's making,
networking.
It's making fun of Hollywood. But she doesn't think that the room's full of porno people because she doesn't recognize anybody.
Well, that's
she,
true,
She knows that the person doesn't know who she is and thinks.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's true.
Anyway,
I just
it
meant it would
doesn't
be.
matter.
It almost. I guess what I meant was, yeah, you're right. She doesn't think that at all. I think what I mean is it almost blows this cover because, and I think even she's onto him at this point
Cover?
because people are talking to him like not like he's a big time porno producer, like he's just some schmucky fellow.
So
actor.
some actor that they run the same circles. Basically.
I gotta be
Locations,
honest. Like when they finally get back to the house,
Yeah.
and she's all like, "Ooh, yeah, I just want you on the rocks."
on the round spinny bed.
I'm like, you can't be this stupid. Like, obviously, you know what his fucking greaseball character reminded me of? That scene in Blade Runner when it's the only thing in Blade Runner I don't like when fucking Harrison Ford or Deckard turns up to Greg, you'll know this. Who was it? Was it Sean Young? No, not Sean Young. It was
Sean Young is the
no. She's like an exotic dancer replicant, and he's all, "Hey, miss, I just
right.
want."
Yeah, he's
like,
trying to be a nerd.
It's so clearly fake that,
Yeah.
that like even a robot's like, "Yeah, you're full of shit." And so after he like
hate
grinds
being
up
told
on
that
her
by a
in the
robot.
porno movie fucking set, and then he's all, "By the way, I'm this big time porn producer. That's why I just grinded up on you in this fucking movie."
I know that didn't make it. He's an actor or is a producer? What is he?
And then he somehow gets her back to the fucking house, and I'm like, oh, maybe she doesn't care. Maybe she just wants to get laid. But then she gets mad at him. She's like, "You're not a big producer." Like none of it.
No, it is
consistent.
ridiculous. Because
None of it's consistent.
No,
Especially
the movie falls apart a bit.
It does, 'cause
as
she's-
soon as the music video starts until the end, it's not nearly as good as the first two-thirds.
She's a top star of the adult world who knows people in her business. And it's like this guy just made his debut with her acting. Oh, and he's also a big time producer. Like as if
if
he's
you're
a big
porn
time
producer, why
just
would you
gonna
be in
switch
the
to acting in this?
Anyway,
in
so
audition.
so
Anyway,
so
yeah,
so
I know,
he's
it
like,
doesn't make sense.
so then he's
I'm
like,
still enjoying it though at
Yep.
this point. Yeah, it's ridiculous, but I'm still enjoying it.
so then he's like, we'll cut to the chase. He's like,
There's a car chase here, isn't there?
He's like, is there a
He's
car
pretending
chase?
to be an
No, there's a
action
car
film
chase.
director.
There's a
at this
crazy
point.
car accident.
No,
there.
he's like, look, I'm not a fucking I'm not an actor, I'm not a producer, whatever.
And
Blah,
then
he goes blah 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 blah, and then
Were you
by
hired?
sheer happenstance, the person that he's trying to figure out whether or not is the murderer happens to phone.
Yeah.
So he's like, don't leave.
Well,
listen to this guy's voice. Is this the guy who booked you to be
Right.
the
Dancing the
silhouette
Well,
that jerk off
This
to?
is because he's pretending he's in Seattle, so it's all part of the alibi.
Yeah.
All right.
Which would be an alibi, which easily squashed.
Would easily, like, you never got on a plane and went to
No,
Seattle.
yeah. Just phone Seattle and ask Seattle, hey,
And-
was this guy in you? And they say no.
No, not.
Peter Frampton was in me.
Anyway, so then
I don't want to know that story.
Let's wrap this up, man, because there's still so much more of this.
No, there's
fucking
not that.
movie.
There's not that much. She says yeah, she was the one dancing. It was a setup, and
And that's the guy's voice. So fucking Football Head was the guy who like set him up, and
He
Football
was-
Head is the guy wearing the Freddy Krueger mask,
Yeah.
or the Gene
Yeah,
Simmons
he
mask,
thinks
or
so,
whatever.
and
the burnt Gene Simmons mask.
she leaves in disgust.
And then she's like-
and he phones the cop and explains everything.
And
And this is what I love. This I like the retelling of the events in this
Yeah.
part. I thought it was fun and clever, and it was just stylish and
Yeah,
well
yeah,
put
yeah.
together. I liked it a lot.
It reminded me a lot when you find out that the paramedic is in fact the killer in Friday
Paramedic?
the 13th Part 5. That's what it reminded me of Friday the 13th Part 5 when
Yeah.
they suddenly reveal that in fact it's a paramedic.
So Melanie
What a
Griffith,
dreadful
Doing the
movie.
Melanie
killers rather than
Griffith it just decides to hitchhike back to town or whatever.
Which is
She
ridiculous.
storms out.
And then she's like waving her arms and cars driving by, and then fucking I don't even remember. Oh, and then
creepy
you
makeup
don't even
man.
see
Yeah.
a car crash. You hear a car
Yeah,
crash.
that's right.
So I guess they ran out of money on the fucking set.
It's
Brian De
also
Palma.
it's a throwback to the old days.
And then I can't remember, but
It's funny because whenever I watch this, I finish this movie around 2 a.m, and my notes kind of got a little sporadic and
Did they?
nonsensical. I have upside down car, leather pants, big milk tube. Does that make any sense to anybody? Because I don't know what that is.
What?
Yeah, I don't know what this is, so I don't
wait,
know what's
upside
going on.
down car.
Leather pants, big milk tube.
No, don't know. Don't.
I was hoping you guys would figure this out for me.
Upside down. Okay, well, no, there's a car crash,
Right.
And because Melanie Griffith is like waving her arms. Oh, and a couple of guys are street racing,
Right.
And they almost run her over.
And they crash.
Yeah, but you don't see them.
No,
crash.
you just hear them crash.
And she turns around and goes like, "Oh my god!"
Right.
Anyway, and then
They end up at a reservoir. There's a chase. They end up at the
well,
reservoir.
okay, no,
freaky,
no,
weird-looking
but
guy
but
picks
before,
her up.
before that,
Right.
before that.
Oh, right,
Gene
yes.
Simmons, rubber face.
Picks up Melanie Griffith.
Yes, picks
And-
up Melanie Griffith, and then
And they're in like a
no, and they only drive like 50 feet
But then-
before they're stopped by a
The car
and he
just
full
car
on
action.
Yeah.
murders her with a crowbar in the passenger seat.
He hits her in the back of the head.
Well,
Oh,
and what's
okay.
wild
Oh,
is,
that-
is
oh,
that
that-
the
oh, that's
cops
so
are
much
there
better.
Well,
already.
it's a knockout.
Yeah, but what's wild is the cops are there already, and the accident
Yeah, I know.
just happened.
What
Like,
drives
it's
me nuts,
totally
though,
shut down as a crime.
And Darren,
scene.
you've mentioned this in previous podcasts. When someone is saying to a cop or someone, "Just look over there,"
They don't
and
do it.
and they're like, "I refuse to look over
it
there."
makes me mental.
And,
How did-
and that's exactly what happens.
And it made me
He's
mental in this
murdering
movie,
her.
too.
How
And,
did
and there's
Watson
cops
get down there?
everywhere,
Well,
and
that's
he's
why I
murdering her in
I
this
forget,
fucking
how
truck.
did he get down
That's
there?
why I
Did he
wrote down
see her?
stupid cop.
Did he? But did he see her get in the truck and know whose truck it was? Like, how did
I
Watson
guess.
get
I think
down
they,
there behind her?
I think they
can't
drove
remember.
by them or something. Anyways, he knows that that's who it is.
Anyway, so
He's driving a white
so
Bronco,
he full
too.
on
Shades of
he
OJ.
full on he fucking whacks fucking Melanie Griffith in the back of the head in the passenger seat in full on view within
then-
50.
Of a
This
roadblock.
cop's within 20 feet
And
of this
then,
fucking thing.
and then he's like getting out. He's like backing.
Yeah, he's like
doing,
crashing into cars.
He's doing like not a 3-point turn to get out. He's doing like a 12-point turn, and he peels off, and nobody pays
No,
attention.
because
it's
even the script is like, let's just end this thing. Then we cut to
Script talks.
Then we cut to a water reservoir, and I wrote
I love Chinatown.
Chinatown. Anyone? So now De Palma, it's not enough to rip off one beloved director.
I don't know what
he's starting to creep into a second fucking
I
director.
don't think
And,
ripping
and
off
one
is the right
that's
word.
not
but anyways.
necessarily beloved either. So, like one
true.
beloved director.
Polanski is beloved.
Well, I don't know
not
if he's
as a person.
beloved.
Well, he's not Frank Capra, but people love his fucking movies.
I love his movies. He's not a very
Anyway,
good person,
so
but I love his
and the
movies.
water reservoir has nothing to do with anything, and the whole. And do we really have
Well,
to talk about how
actually-
this fucking movie ends? It's
No,
so
okay.
stupid.
So he gets there. He follows her there. The disfigured Gene Simmons guy has gotten
Gene
there.
Simmons has already managed to dig a 6-foot pit.
Yeah,
in like 20 minutes
He dug a 6-foot grave
next to a water reservoir.
Like, why does he have to dig it so deep? Is there like some sort of regulation?
And also, why are you digging there? How about you drive out to the middle of fucking nowhere
or
in the
throw
forest?
her into a reservoir.
Anyways,
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Just tossed her.
But
Yeah,
that- but
if you're a
then-
murderer, you'd be a good murderer, Alex.
he is a good murderer.
Huh?
What?
Anyway, so yeah, the whole Chinatown thing goes on, and then he falls into the fucking grave,
And then
and the
it's got the-
claustrophobia happens.
And you think,
course.
yeah, and then it goes back to him in the coffin, and it almost feels
that was a cool scene when
kinda
he's in the
like
bottom of the
this- gee, I
grave.
wonder if
and
he's-
it is getting like it's extending, and it's all that's white, and it's
Yes,
he looks I thought that was really cool.
I like that a lot, where it was like dark, but then do you think they actually filmed that in daylight?
No, it was just some sort of screen over it. It doesn't matter, but
Because I thought that really worked actually.
It
When
totally
he,
did.
he's like lying there in the pit, and he looks up, and it's dark, and then all of a sudden it's all light.
it's not even light. It's like white. It's like just a white background, and then
But then
I thought that was really
and then fucking Pizza Face grabs the shovel and starts throwing dirt like directly onto Actor Boy. And does
His
anyone
mouth.
care? Like, oh no, we're gonna lose a loser actor, but whatever. And then all of a sudden, he's back in the first scene of
yeah,
the movie.
Well,
I thought it was
and that's
a
what I'm like.
cop-out.
Oh no, it's all a
Yeah.
fucking dream.
I was hoping it was,
I was hoping it wasn't.
but it wasn't.
Well, this is after he's ripped his face off as well.
It's whatever.
Then you know
and
it's
the
they know
Scooby
it's-
Doo
Well,
ending,
no,
where
he gets a second wind, and then he rips the
right,
face
whatever.
off.
Yeah.
and then the dog.
Yeah, then the dog runs.
That for some reason that dog is in the back of the fucking truck.
because it belongs.
Why?
It's his dog. It's the creepy
killer's dog.
Indian- It's the killer's dog.
Okay,
But it's
right.
weird that the
That's-
killer's
that-
dog
that-
turns on.
But
him.
is it not also the victim's dog?
They were married.
Yeah.
No. Here's my question.
Huh?
You have just successfully murdered your wife by
Yep.
wearing a rubber mask
Yep.
and framing some loser actor
Yep.
across the way. Blah 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 blah.
Yes.
Do you not then just leave the country and never come back?
Well,
or do you come back and get your puppy dog?
No, because Dude was putting 2 and 2 together. He's figuring it out, and he's going to figure it out that it was.
Yeah, the plan wasn't working, so he
yeah.
was. gonna
What does the
rub out
dog have to do
loose
with
end.
that?
Well, it was stupid to have the dog with him because the dog.
Leave
having
the
seen-
dog
well,
at the murder
Well,
house.
that is ridiculous.
You got away
No,
with murder.
No, I
You
still liked it, but the dog must have been freaking out because
Well, the
while
dog's-
he's driving around, he's wearing the makeup of the killer that the dog's
but
seen.
but at the same time, back when he went into the house to murder
yeah.
her, the dog did not flinch or bark at him.
That's
Yeah.
one of the few details I'll give
That's
you
true,
because
yeah. Actually, wait, you're right. but
because
why does the
before
dog
I knew
flip
that-
out and attack
I don't
him
know.
here?
before I knew that Murder Man was actually the husband, I was like, this is the most useless dog ever.
Yeah.
But
You
yeah,
know?
because then you
But
find
it's
out.
like,
that-
oh, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But if you had gotten away with murdering your wife,
maybe he liked the dog. The dog was going to
why?
starve.
Would,
not
no,
a smart
no.
murderer.
Do you not then show up at the airport and go, "Oh, I'm so tired from that flight back from Seattle. I guess I'll go home to my house where I live and get my dog without wearing a disgusting rubber fucking Freddy Krueger mask."
Gene Simmons.
Or do you go back and fucking with your rubber mask get your dog? Like, why? And then murder. Nothing about this movie makes any fucking sense.
That's so.
I still had a blast watching it.
Me too.
Anyway,
Anyways,
so
let's wrap this up.
then fucking loser actor is crawling out of the fucking grave
Uh-huh.
where Melanie Griffith is, and the dog bursts through the glass of the fucking truck and runs at
The owner that he's
the
liked
owner,
so
and the owner's
far.
like, kill or something.
Well,
or
I don't remember exactly how the dog.
Well, the dog's-
he knocks him into the reservoir, right?
Well, what happens is fucking like his buddy boy is crawling out of the grave, and standing behind him on the other side of the grave is Freddy Krueger,
Right.
fucking
Gene
Gene Simmons.
Simmons.
And then the dog is running, and he's like, kill! And then actor loser just drops back into the fucking grave.
He ducks as the dog's
and
leaping,
the dog
right?
is so stupid he can't stop.
But he's
because apparently
he's
dogs.
mid-jump.
Did you know as a scientific fact, dogs can't stop? I watched a whole documentary about that.
I love
About
that-
dogs have an inability to stop
I
running.
love that children's book.
And so this dog runs and knocks fucking Freddy Krueger, Gene Simmons, into the reservoir.
Right.
But Melanie Griffith, of course, is unconscious, and then she comes to, and she's like, "I don't believe you." Yeah. And then I gotta wonder, bitch. I know you hate that word, but bitch, if I was gonna murder you, why would I wake you up and help you out of the grave?
Well, she wasn't afraid he was going to murder her.
I think she was
But
afraid
no,
that he was
because
going to murder her.
Well, she already got kidnapped by the ugly guy.
Anyway, whatever. So then,
just in
but then
shock. I
everything
mean,
is
she's
just
been belted
hunky
on
dory
that.
because over the closing credits of this fucking movie,
Yeah, because
we have to watch this weird scene in a shower with a vampire. So he got the part again.
Presumably because he's become a celebrity for solving the murder. So
I have
he's good
a
box office.
corpse fucker written here. Does that ring a bell?
Oh yeah, because she's like, "Are you a necrophiliac,
Oh, right,
a corpse
right.
fucker?"
Right, because okay.
And she has a couple of funny lines where she's like, "Yeah, you shouldn't be turned on by me because I'm still breathing."
So he's
Right.
but he's overcome his claustrophobia.
Yeah.
He's now working again.
Wow, I'm
he's
so glad he
he was-
overcame his fucking claustrophobia.
he's in a shower with a
Actually,
with a
It
body
looks like,
double.
and it looks like him and Melanie Griffith, Holly Buddy, are a couple now. Like she's there watching the scene,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like they're
And
together.
it's the same scene that he missed out on when it came back earlier in the movie.
Yeah.
So yay, the loser actor got his loser part.
Yeah.
Where he's dressed like Billy Idol in the shower.
Well,
And then
hard part to get.
okay, so then the fucking credits start rolling. And then it's just the actors, but then it's blank in the credits. And then it's Dennis Franz going like, hold on, the lighting's all wrong or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, and they bring in a body double.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the end
Yeah,
joke.
whatever.
Like a body double.
And then the credits
for
start
the
going,
scene.
and then they zoom in on. Actually, it was kind of a funny line when the body double came in. She's like, "Yeah, don't squeeze my breast too hard because I'm having my period." And it's like, I'm like, that's a pretty good line. Actually.
That's like because it's supposed to be a sexy scene.
Yeah, I think you probably hear that all the time on set.
Yeah.
But and then you just see a tit and then blood, vampire blood running down the tit as the credits roll.
Well, it'll be her blood. Yeah.
And then that's the end of the fucking movie.
Yeah.
And again, kind of an homage to himself because there was a famous shower scene in Dress to Kill, and there's a famous bloody shower scene in
And
Carrie.
Carrie.
That's right, the
beginning.
She's on her period, etc.
Yeah, but the problem with that is,
Menstruation and-
what if I haven't seen those movies
Doesn't matter.
or saw them and didn't like them?
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Does it
It's
not
just-
come across as kind of wanky to have
No.
a director go, "Remember those other movies I did?
Nah, not at all.
Isn't it funny that I'm referencing those other movies that
So
you
like,
hated?"
maybe he should apologize for having style and his own his own signature on his films. I don't know.
No, I wish it was his own signature, but it's not.
It is.
It's Hitchcock's fucking signature.
It's he loves Hitchcock.
So what?
He there's nothing wrong with having scenes and themes that are similar to Hitchcock movies.
I agree. But when you're wearing them so obviously on your coat sleeves, you're kind of saying, "Am I not almost as good as Hitchcock?"
No, not at all.
Look,
I'm saying, look, I love this guy. These are the movies I make. The movies aren't all that. They're elements of that.
You see, yeah, that's
I would.
see, and it's funny you said it because about it being elements, because I agree. Sometimes more obvious than others. The films I tend to not like by De Palma are the ones that are way too obvious.
Like
Like Vertigo, like Obsession is just basically
I haven't-
almost it's a bad remake.
I
of
haven't
Fargo.
seen Obsession.
It's bad.
Yeah, I haven't heard. Man, I'm not.
And I'm
gonna
not a
seek
big
it
fan
out.
of Dress to Kill either because it's
I like Dress to
a
Kill a
bit
lot.
too
Actually,
much like Psycho, but whatever. It's like, but
it's just so interestingly
I just
done.
oh yeah, fair enough. But I just prefer. All I'm saying is I prefer the movies. Like I know that he's always paying homage and stuff, but I prefer when the homage is a little less obvious.
Well, fair enough. Like I don't mind it because like this movie might be his most obvious hit. Maybe I haven't seen Obsession, but it might be his most obvious Hitchcock. Like way more than say Scarface, Untouchables. But anyways,
Well, Scarface is just its own.
yeah, it is.
beast
It's his own
completely.
animal. But his the reason he made the movie is extremely violent and I would say like misogynistic and if you want to look at it that way, was the backlash against from Scarface.
Yeah,
This is a movie he made immediately after
That's right,
Scarface,
yeah.
like the next year.
that's right.
Because he got lambasted for the violence in Scarface, so he said he was mad. He said, "Fuck this! Let's make it more violent and crazy."
Yeah.
And yeah, because this was I think this was given an X rating when it came out,
Originally, yeah.
as was Scarface, and so I did a little trimming.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that a guy like
Brian.
Brian De Palma is who is as you call him Brian.
Well, you do apparently,
Yeah.
because you're BFFs.
Oh, give me a break. Anyways, he's a renowned director. He's made some great films, and he's like an A-list director at this time, anyways, in his career. And he's making movies like this. I love the fact that he's doing shit like this. Like nobody's doing stuff like this. Like as a major director, like Spielberg does not do anything like this. Scorsese maybe, but in a different realm.
But
Scorsese,
this movie,
maybe.
it doesn't completely succeed
No.
in what it's trying to do by any stretch. But I like the fact that he's just going for broke.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
See, I have a different take on this.
Well, I don't
I-
think we need to do even like if we liked it or not. It's obvious.
Well, no. That's not it. Like,
Excuse me.
see, you're suggesting it's just I find it unoriginal. Like I find De Palma's take unoriginal.
No, not me.
And I'm not discrediting him for having balls or I'm glad he didn't make Zapped.
I'd
Like
love to have seen that.
he's not making garbage. It's just like it's his
making trash.
His stylism to me is not his own. It's always fucking Hitchcock.
So-
And it's like I have yet to see a Brian De Palma film. Okay, maybe Scarface. Actually, yes, Scarface. Scarface is definitely a Brian De Palma film that I don't feel owes anything to Alfred Hitchcock.
Well,
but
not all is like you haven't seen a lot of his films. Carrie's not a Hitchcock film. Phantom of the Paradise is not a Hitchcock film.
Carrie is fine. Like, I mean, I frankly, my problem with Carrie is not that he's like, mimicking Hitchcock. It's that I just don't think Carrie is that good a movie. And
I think it's one of his best. I think,
and
and I think
people are always-
It's an all-time favorite.
and I think it's one of the best, if not the best, Stephen King adaptations for any
Oh
movie.
no! Well, it's
up there.
Yeah, we can talk about that some other time.
Well, we should have a Stephen King podcast.
I would love to.
Yeah.
I would love to.
our favorites.
Like
Yeah. And our not
Carrie
favorites.
just never did it for me.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know. There's
It's
just
an
something.
all-time favorite.
But anyways, let's talk about this movie.
But
We're almost done.
let's
my-
wrap this up
I
here.
wish De Palma would just. He just always seems to have this weird fucking hang up about Alfred Hitchcock, and this is why I compare him to J.J. Abrams. Is that J.J. Abrams has this weird hang up about Steven Spielberg, and it's like, look, you're clearly a talented director. You know what you're doing. Why do you keep trying to imitate your favorite?
because
director.
One, because it's their favorite directors and they're excellent directors. Well, if you're gonna like be inspired and incorporate anyone's style or even like ideas into your movie, why not? You're not going to pick Roger Corman. You're not going to pick
I prefer.
I'm trying to think of a shitty director. Lasse Hallström. I don't like his movies.
There's nothing wrong with Lasse Hallström.
I'm sure you'd like his movies because they're nice and sweet and saccharine. And all that
Who's
kind of
that?
stuff.
Who's that guy who did? Hey, there's nothing wrong with Lasse Hallström.
I don't like his movies.
Come on, fucking Uwe Boll.
Okay,
if you're
okay,
gonna pick a director,
let's go. We can all agree on, yeah, exactly. Although we shouldn't say this because he's going to fight us if we say this.
oh man,
I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight him.
Love to fight Uwe Boll.
No, you wouldn't. He's a boxer. He's a trained boxer.
Yeah.
He'll kick the shit out of you. He kicked the shit out of both of us in a cage match at the same time. I don't want to be involved.
I
in
just
that.
don't think you should be so obvious with your influences. That's
No,
all.
no. The thing is, I love the fact that he brings that element into his movies. Like the for me, the best part of this movie was the half-hour following scene. I just loved it. To me, it's like I watched the Parallax View a few weeks ago. When there's a lot of that. It's like just people following each other. It's better done than that because they're not right behind each other. But there's a scene when Warren Beatty's following a bad guy up an escalator. The guy goes up the escalator. Then Warren Beatty goes up the escalator. I'm watching it with my wife, and she goes, "Did we just watch two guys go up an escalator?" I go, "Yeah, it was awesome." Because I just love that kind of stuff.
I have not seen the Parallax View. I've been intending to for some time because we just got it as a new release.
Yeah, I got a lovely Blu-ray of it.
Anyway, we don't have to get into like.
Anyways,
my particular hang-ups with Brian De Palma.
Obviously, you did not like this movie.
I didn't go that far.
Okay. Well, let's. What's your final thoughts on this?
Well,
thing?
you're okay. So, are we still gonna do the 2 rounds thing where it's like, does it hold up?
Well, isn't
1, 2, 3, and then what do you recommend? 1, 2, 3.
Isn't that what we do?
Or can't we just? No, we've had this debate forever.
Isn't that what we've been doing?
I think it should be. We should just do 1 round of us saying yes or no. It hangs up. It holds
hangs
up.
out?
It holds up.
It totally hangs out.
And also, I would recommend this movie.
Do that then.
Okay.
If that'll make you happy, do that.
Starting with you,
okay,
Mr. Darren, because it always starts with whoever picked the movie.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Question number 1 to be answered: does it hold up? Question number 2. Mm-hmm. It is Monday here at Black Dog Video, and as you know, it is 2 for 1. Is it still 2 for 1?
It's back to 2 for 1 Mondays.
Back to 2 for 1s. So
old days.
Somebody brings Body Double up to the counter and says, I just can't think of a movie that would go well with this. What movie would it be? So question number 1, does it hold up? Question number 2, what movie would pair well with Body Double? I would say,
I'm very pleased you're renting Body Double because I love Body Double. It's a crazy 80s, weird, noir, sleazy, misogynistic. Go into this looking, it's got problems, but I really enjoyed it. It was a fun ride. I would recommend it, but knowing what you're going to watch, I wouldn't recommend it to everybody. But yeah, I totally enjoyed watching this again. And my pick is a Brian De Palma movie that we haven't even mentioned tonight that hardly anyone's seen, which I really, really enjoyed, called Femme Fatale.
Oh my!
Yes, it's another kind of like a sexy noir thriller, and it's crazy, and it's Brian De Palma moving the camera around like nobody else. I loved it. So yeah, Femme Fatale and Body Double. It's Brian De Palma birthday cake. Dig in.
And it's an excellent Velvet Underground song, Femme Fatale. You ever hear it?
Probably. I've heard all the.
Of course.
Nico sings it. It's gorgeous.
Right.
So Alex, question number 1, does it hold up? Question number 2, it's Monday here at Black Dog Video. Someone brings Body Double up to the counter. What movie would you pair it with?
Well, I don't know if hold up is the right term because
you've never seen it.
It was my first time seeing it, but I completely enjoyed it. I loved it. It's a mess. I didn't love it, but I completely enjoyed it. It's a mess. This movie's a mess. Like, I smiled through it when I found it wasn't making much sense, and even when it did its reveals.
Did you smile
Still
all the
enjoyed
way through
it. I did. I really enjoyed the
must
movie.
look crazy.
I would recommend it, and as usual, I'm sorry I have 2 pairings. Either it depends.
But it's
only 2.
But it's only 2.
Only 2
way
pairings.
to restrain
One
yourself.
would be another Brian De Palma film, which I love, and we did mention earlier, also Blow Out, because it's also similar. It's about making movies, and then there's a murder, and there's an investigation.
Blow Out's great.
Lots of following. It covers the same ground as Body Double, but far more successfully. It does it much better. That, or my other recommendation would be Paul Schrader's Hardcore. Also about, it stars George C. Scott.
Oh my God, that's my daughter.
Yeah, the classic "My God, that's my daughter" line. And
Oh, really?
yeah, his
Is
daughter.
that where that comes from?
Yeah, his daughter goes missing in the world of porn. George C. Scott's daughter, and he and Peter Boyle begin an investigation to
Peter
try
Boyle.
to find her. And it's a really
That's
fun,
the
super
turn
sleazy
it off,
thriller.
Turn it
yeah,
off.
turn it off.
Turn
That's
it
where
off.
we got the scene from.
Yeah, the Rio Theater has this hilarious intro before movies.
It was me who suggested it years ago. Yeah, we used a scene from Paul Schrader's Hardcore with George C. Scott, and Paul Hendricks, who works at the Rio, did the dynamite editing and put it all together.
And The Simpsons also parodies that scene.
They did.
I'm
and
sure they do.
Yeah, it's been parodied.
Turn it off.
SNL did a parody of it in the 70s called Hardcore 2, and I forget who the actress is, but she's like, my God, that's my father, and Bill Murray's a stripper. So they did a role reversal on it.
It's not a comedy though, right? The movie. The
No,
Hardcore?
Hardcore is a brutal drama, and it doesn't
I
fully
could- I-
work either, but it's a really fun,
I like to watch that again.
like, where an investigation's happening in this sleazy world of porn.
How about you, Dylan? What do you think?
Well, as for does it hold up? Obviously, I can't comment. Yeah, I have my problems with this movie, but yeah, I would actually recommend it.
Yeah,
It's not a bad movie.
it's never boring.
Yeah, it's never boring. I did rip my hair out watching it.
That's what happened. Holy shit! Man.
I know. It's all. You thought that was Jefferson's? No.
Yeah,
Jefferson's. I don't say body shop.
Well, they do good work. They might do something in the back
Jefferson's
room. I don't know.
Jefferson's barbershop does much better work than the hair that I ripped out.
Is this our plug for Jefferson's right now too?
It is, yeah.
Okay, good.
Well, they're not really actually paying us. We just like them, so
We do like them.
So they
yeah.
take what we give them. God damn
That's
it.
right.
No, the movie infuriated me and frustrated me. And
Did you say defrustrated or frustrated?
and defrosted me, and then put me in a
headlock?
pot full of boiling water and then fried me.
Wow.
I am a
This
pierogi,
movie has everything.
but I wouldn't not recommend it.
So you say you wouldn't not recommend
I
it?
wouldn't put it on Dylan's picks, but I wouldn't discourge
You wouldn't
someone
use a
from
double
watching
name.
it.
Right.
There are there are two Brian De Palma movies I like better than this. Being Carlito's Way and The Untouchables. And if both of those have been rented and you just have to watch a Brian De Palma movie, then I would say this is a pretty good third.
Sure.
As for pairings,
Please don't say Secret of Nim.
I wasn't going to, but I'll say The Secret of Nim 2. Return to Nim.
Whoa.
No, I would say that the modern equivalent would be Basic Instinct. Was the movie that I most thought of while watching this.
Yeah,
because
it's a sleazy thriller too.
sleazy thriller. It's morally ambiguous.
Yep.
And there's loads of nudity.
Loads.
And if you can't get Basic Instinct, I would go with Sliver. You guys, has any of us seen
You think
Sliver?
it's or Silver?
No,
Is it Sliver?
No, Sliver.
Silver.
The one with Sharon Stone and Billy Baldwin.
Or is it the one where she smashes the light bulb on the hood of the car and have sex on the broken glass? Is that Sliver?
Probably.
Yeah.
I've never seen it, but it had a lot of hype because it was, I can't believe, Robert Evans' big producing comeback.
Really?
Yeah, after
Sliver.
years of not working in the industry,
Yeah.
yeah. Sliver was his lackluster
That was
comeback.
another Joe Esterhaus sleaze thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
I'm not sure
but
of,
the
but
thing
it
with
was
Sliver
produced by
is
Robert
it's
Evans.
all about voyeurism.
It's not
because-
very good. Is that
No,
is that Willem Dafoe in that too?
I can't remember. But all I remember is that the guy who owns this fucking huge tower building is spying on all of the people who live there. So for voyeuristic reasons, I was thinking that. You know what?
We
Fuck
don't
that.
have it.
Basic Instinct would be a very good pairing with Body Double.
Yeah,
you
I-
will.
I even as of
you
sleazy
will
noir.
masturbate until you are dry.
Yeah, exactly.
If you watch these two back
relax,
to back.
relax, don't do it.
So this has been the Black Dog Video After Dark podcast. We are located at Black Dog Video 1470 Commercial Drive here in beautiful Vancouver, Canada. Check out our brand spanking new website, blackdogvideo.ca, where you can watch a bunch of fun videos. You can listen to our podcasts.
All kinds of things going on there.
Weekly newsletters.
Yep.
Or just come on in and check us out. We would all like to thank Greg.
Thanks, Greg.
AKA G Money.
G Money.
Who makes
Thank
us
you.
makes
In the
us
house.
makes us sound so professional.
Yeah.
I have been Dylan Reimer, and who have you guys been?
I'm Alex Chisholm.
I'm still Darren Gay.
And everybody out there, be good to everybody out there.
Yeah.
This is the end.
This is the end, my friend.
Until the end. Good night, folks.
Bye.
Good night.
The Black Dog After Dark podcast is recorded at Black Dog Video on Commercial Drive in Vancouver, Canada. It's presented by Alex Chisholm, Darren Gay, and Dylan Reimer. It is produced by Dylan Reimer and Darren Gay. Alex just kind of stands there and drinks beer. The intro and outro music was recorded by Tiger Burning Bright, composed by Jeff, who works at Jefferson's Barbershop, also on Commercial Drive. And he's a damn good hairstylist.